I thought I was playing all the music tonight.
Michael's on crack, people.
You choked.
It's so bad it made me choke, man. God. Actually, I think it was supposed to be Laura Lee. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. We're going to have a couple of promos and some music. You're coming in to News on the Flip Side. We're just getting the show started tonight. We're going to be live as usual. I don't know who's going to be the craziest. We might have to put up a crazy meter. You know, we might start putting up a crazy meter and giving somebody a prize who guesses who's the craziest for the night. Jay's going to win every time, but still, it's anyway. We'll be right back.
What's out there? What creates the shadows in the corners or the creatures of the dark? Who are those on the other side? What do they have to say? This is the Gateway Podcast. This is not your normal style of paranormal talk radio. Brought to you live from United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM New Orleans.
Are you ready to explore the unknown? Dive into the world of the strange, mysterious, and unexplained with Eerie Expeditions magazine. Each issue is packed with spine-tingling tales, cutting-edge paranormal investigations, and exclusive insights into hauntings, cryptids, UFOs, and more. Whether you're a seasoned investigator or just love a good ghost story, Eerie Expeditions magazine has something for you. Join our growing community of truth seekers and adventure lovers. Subscribe today at EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com and unlock the secrets of the supernatural. Are you ready? That's EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com, where the extraordinary is just a click away. Dare to
This is the United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans and 105.3 in the Gulf Coast. UPRN TalkRadio.com. Esoteric programming at its finest.
Our symbol, the trident, gifted to us by the priests of Troy Xenos centuries ago when one of the first monster hunting teams out of Corinth battled a contingent of Vrykolakas that had infested their temple. After the victory over the monsters, the head priest declared, "You are three lances acting as one, not unlike Poseidon's mighty trident of light. That would become our name, the Trident of Light, for the good we did and still do against the dark evils of this world."
Available at Amazon Books.
Follow us on Instagram at paranormal.insight. Stay informed on upcoming shows, ask questions, and see what chilling paranormal stories we're following. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube at paranormal_insight. Click the live.
Click the light, baby. Click the light.
Hello, everybody. I don't know why we're all just sitting here.
Don't be hating on the bells, man.
What's going on with the promos, man? Are they done? Are they done? Are they gone?
You're supposed to get a
Here?
song.
Friday night, we're partying.
Who's the song? What's the song?
But my
Oh, shit.
Hey, man.
Into his room.
Sorry, guys.
There it is.
Only to find Gideon's Bible.
No, now I got to start it over. Hold on.
I don't see anything.
Which one of the Beatles sang this?
I don't see the video. Tell him who's going to get us.
I think that's George.
James Hetfield had a message.
The White Album?
I want to see a video.
It's what it came with. Just wait for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
Probably a good thing for us. We won't get kicked off.
cheap, man.
That is key. I agree.
That Paul McCartney's going to come and beat us with his ex-wife.
Hey, Mark, ready? It is kind of easy.
No prosthetic leg. Those things hurt.
Oh, it's Paul.
I'm telling you, they were high. Man. Not as high as we never. Why don't we do it on the road?
Hey, Lori.
Hi. It's for tonight. That's okay.
Hey, Sherry. Good to see you.
Lady in earphones. Like go.
I think you play at the end of the show. It's all slow. Everybody's yawning.
George.
Rocky Wacko as babies in the afternoon. Top by the chair and said, this is when they all started doing acid.
Nah, that might have been Strawberry Field, man.
Yeah.
What's the other one with the silver?
Yellow
man? What the
Submarine.
hell was that? Oh, that was it.
When you know you're that famous with the heart whistle, I'm like, this is what they do it. That the world is up there.
And they were also baked us out when they did Oogla Dee Oogla Da.
Try coming out that in the beginning of your career.
Yeah, they tried to be some nasty. It's on my hood. Night.
I feel like I'm in an elevator.
Boo, 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 boo. Anyway, welcome to News on the Flip Side, guys. That was for the youngins that have no idea what I just played. They were like,
Somebody
"What
just
the
farted in the elevator, man.
fuck was that?"
Music.
They were like, "Wow, what the fuck was that?" That's kind of Lucky Raccoon, but hey, the Brits are weird. What can I say? You had never seen Doctor Who? Come on, they're just weird. I mean, come on, their villains are a tin can with a plunger on it. I mean, give me a break. Have y'all seen the demons that the people in this country make? Yeah, they'll scare anybody. They're scared of damn real demons. Hey, whoa, what the hell was that? Probably giving them demons ideas. Anyway, welcome to News on the Flip Side, everybody. Hey, Laura Lisa, you just popped in. There's Purgatory Mickey down there. Sean Dexter Kelly up there. I was going to come say Sean Combs, but I had to change that. And then we have Doomsday Jay up there. I don't know. We're going to come up with a name for Laura Lee. It's just
I just bought a bag of Tootsie Rolls, too.
Conspiracy Princess.
Oh, Conspiracy Princess. That's right. She's already got a nick. Shit, I forgot.
I got to change it right now.
So, what's that, people? Well, no, I have to use my name in here because I'm the anchor host. Somebody's got to be sensible. No, not really, but no, I can't.
Someone's
I
got
better
to get
remember
sued.
to change this Monday night.
If someone's gonna get sued, that's the one. The one
Oh,
with
anyway, yes, I'll get hurt by the boss if I
the
start
rest
doing
of
weird
us
stuff.
are all.
Hey, Mark. Hey, Sherry. How y'all doing? Welcome to the room.
Hi, everybody.
Oh shit. Okay,
Yeah.
let me get my brains about you. There's a lot of stuff we're going to be talking about tonight. Some of the stuff is you can go over and catch on YouTube or Rumble. It's already in the description. Some of it's going to be other stuff we're going to be talking about. There's a lot
World
of
War
topics
III.
to cross. We're definitely going to be talking about World War III because the Chinese have come up with this. Now I got to tell y'all, the picture looked fucking fake to me. But anyway, they came up with this new hypersonic missile that can do Mach 10, maybe Mach
What?
11. Oh yeah, and then on top of that, they came up with a super drone carrier that flies in the sky bigger than the B-52. Oh shit, man! These people are getting ready for war. I'm not fucking with y'all guys. China is
They're
doing
building
everything
the
it
biggest
can.
military base anyone's ever seen, ever.
So
So there's a lot going on there. Yeah.
so there's a couple of things we have to talk about China since we're on it. So right off the bat, if Trump keeps his foot on China's neck, they're limited to what they can really do. So because they've been spending heavy. And
Yeah.
things like giant, when you're developing stuff like new space bases and their space station and wanting to go to the moon and big projects like these drone carriers and these hypersonic missiles, you're spending a lot of money just in R&D. I mean, really, you're spending a lot of money. So by the
I
time
thought
you
they
get
did
into
both,
actual
though.
development, well, they are. So they're spending they're spending against their own money right now. So what's going to happen is this happened when he was in 2016. He put the brakes on them. They were forecasted to pass us by 2018. That little shit he did kept him from passing us up as the wealthiest country in the world. And now it's also given China a chance to catch up with Russia, which, by the way, they say that shit, but China's 4 trillion. Not Russia. China's 4 trillion or 3 something trillion. And China, last I checked, was around 11 trillion because we're 36 trillion headed for 40. We by ourselves make up 25% of all purchases in the world, not just here, but
And a
in
lot
the
of that
world.
crap comes from China.
And no, not anymore. A lot of it never really did come from China because, well, people don't really think about it because when I grew up, it came from America, Japan, or Taiwan. That's where it came from.
Yeah.
So today, I still see stuff coming from Taiwan, but I have now started seeing stuff coming from Vietnam. Vietnam said they would pick up the slack on anything China had and even bring it in at a cheaper price.
We've been getting a lot of stuff from Vietnam for the last.
Hey, Kurt.
I've been in hardware the last 15 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Also
And
India.
so, I've been
India
noticing
is a
that
big
light bulbs,
manufacturer.
vanities, sink tops.
Because we're learning, we have to cut China out. China, only way to control China is to control their money.
I say
And
that
you,
shit for
the United
25
States,
years.
can do that. What was that, babe? No, we've been doing it. We've been.
Yeah.
Our biggest problem is we get gaps. So Nixon made deals with them, but he kept his foot on their neck. Reagan kept his foot on their neck. Clinton even actually kept his foot on their neck. Oh no! Here come Barack, insane Obama.
The
He just lets
communist
him
government
rip.
should have been isolated and squelched.
I agree, so now this is what's
They
going
should have
on.
never gotten Hong Kong back. Never, ever, man.
Oh, I know that.
They didn't
That was the single biggest mistake anybody could have made in their time. Fuck China. They want to start a war over them. Back then, they were shit. They would have got their asses slammed in 2 days. Right now,
before that.
Right now they're only. But what people don't realize about China is they're paper military. They're tough on top, but they're not deep. So their navy is actually bigger than ours now. We're about 40 or 50 ships, but that's ours. That's not if you include NATO or the EU. Then it's like 3 times the size of theirs. Even with Russia's, it's still 3 times the size.
If you take in just our sub fleet alone, we can sink their entire navy before they even get across the Pacific.
Now these new hypersonic missiles could be a problem.
Not underwater.
I don't know. Japan says that they can knock any missile out of the sky, hypersonic or whatever, with that railgun, that mini railgun they have.
Maybe so. Railguns are fast. Railguns are fast.
Swear they can knock anything out of the sky.
Well, so anything can be knocked out as long as there's enough time. So the thing about a hypersonic missile is if you launch off the coast and it hits Mach 10 in a mile, you're fucked. You're
But
not
that's
shooting.
great.
Anything.
That's
You'll never
great.
even, by the time you even
then
notice it's there,
but
you're
then they
dead.
get obliterated. Then they get obliterated. You know, they do something stupid like that. Okay, there's your mock missile, but now you've got 1,000 of our missiles coming at you, and you're going to be gone in 10 minutes. You know what I mean? It's like,
Well,
what?
China don't want a war with the United States. China's got
No,
itself
they
in a
want our money.
catch-22. No, but that's
They
what I'm
want
saying.
to populate. I got news
China
for you.
would rather,
want
to be
populate
totally
the
honest with
US.
you,
They
if
want
it
to
was up to
populate the U.S. They want the land here. They want to
actually
populate.
no, if it was up to Xi Jinping, he would do away with his military. He wants to be the wealthiest, most powerful nation ever, and he has now realized you can't do that with a fucking military. One, military costs you too much money; it keeps you down,
They
and
got a lot of
two,
problems.
it makes the rest of the world antsy.
They're
They got a lot of
taking over
problems.
Canada. I told you this, Joe. We got in an argument about this a couple of years ago.
Fucking Canada,
They're
you
up there
communist bastards!
secretly in
Hey,
the
where's all these people at the top up here? Oh wait, I'm bitching. I'm one of them. Shit, hold on.
They got military forces here, tons of them. You said none, then you conceded to 7,500. 75,000. That was a couple of years ago. And they've been at that time. They were here for 5 years in the middle of BF nowhere. Rebel News.
They had tens of thousands.
No, Trump. When the first time they went, Trump ran him out the country. He actually told Canada he'd come remove him himself. So they watched him on satellite. They left. They were gone. But
tens of
and now
thousands
that Prince Charles has
came to
faced
work
the
rate. Hello, they had tens of thousands of Chinese that came to work the uranium mines out in New Mexico, and now they're still there, and they're on the res, man. They're taking over the reservations. It's crazy.
I think a lot of them been kicked out too. So you haven't been keeping up with current news, Mike. So the president is now going on a kick about kicking Chinese out of the country.
Well,
they've already started doing it. They've already kicked out about 3,000 already, and they're planning on doing
nothing, man. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's a lot.
You know what?
There's not as many Chinese in our country as you think.
There's over 4,000 Chinese nationals in Cornell University, man, and we're paying for most of them to be here, even though they're driving a Mercedes. So think of the concept.
I don't think they are anymore, man. You haven't been paying attention to Doge. All them contracts like that are gone. Doge cut all them out.
Did you see James O'Keefe yesterday? He's got a viral video of a guy granting like the fairy godmother to all these people here illegally in the U.S. that he doesn't care. He just breaks the rules and away he goes. I just
when he gets caught, just like what's his name that's down there in Venezuela, he'll be down in Venezuela.
I'll see if I can find it for you.
Because they're gonna if you're stupid enough to put yourself in public, they could just make their job easier. And I don't care what anybody says. That asshole who's running everything, he's an asshole. He don't care who you are, who you know. Come on, he just had a congresswoman put in jail, and he had a judge and a congresswoman put in jail. This guy's not scared of anybody. And if you're stupid enough to go out there and brag about yourself being here illegal, he's going to make a special assorted effort to catch you.
There's bad stuff coming, and it's coming.
No,
soon.
I'm talking about the bald-headed guy, the guy who's running. He's a real dick. What is his name? He runs everything. He's the guy who's fighting with AOC all the time. Keeps telling her she'll knock it off. He's going to put her in jail. Oh, why? I can't think of his name.
That guy who's in charge of ICE or.
Yeah,
he's the border. The borders.
Omen's
he's a border zone. He ain't scared of anybody. I mean, he knows. You know what? He knows Pam Bondi is on his 6, so he really ain't scared of anybody. And you know who's on her 6? Donald ass Trump.
They got a short time, dude. A short time to get.
They got a short time. They got 3.5 years to get done what they want to do.
God knows. Let me tell you, man. There's something big coming. There's something big, and I don't know if you guys heard. You know, the CDC's not tracking this anymore, but COVID, there's another COVID from China, and now it's spreading here in the U.S., and it's overwhelming emergency rooms and things like that. So you know, people may not be dropping dead necessarily, but it is deadlier and more dangerous than the original one. But yet, we don't need emergency rooms doubled and tripled and quadrupled. They just shut one down, just maybe 30 miles from me. You know, shut down the emergency. They're at capacity. They told people to go somewhere else. So, but I was saying this shit coming, man. And every major psychic in the world, I was just reading an article yesterday, has predicted that this stuff is coming before the end of 2025.
Yeah.
Well, all the ones we've seen said 2027. I don't believe any of them, to be honest with you. I have yet to meet a real psychic that can fucking predict anything of any real.
I feel it in my gut. And my gut's telling me.
Nobody predicted 9/11. Nobody predicted Hiroshima. And I'm already nobody predicted us dropping nukes on anybody's head.
I'm already
predicted a lot of shit that's going on. Nobody predicted Fukushima.
No.
or 3 Mile Island or Chernobyl.
How could you not predict?
Oh man, you know they didn't. That's what I'm saying. Nobody did it
on a fault line. Come on the ocean.
And nobody predicted it was going to blow up. And I'm talking about psychic. I'm not talking about technicians.
On the record on this show, I said that Donald Trump was going to win, and I nodded off the show at midnight because I had to work the next day.
Oh yeah,
Jay predicted
the next day, Trump wasn't there, so I didn't predict it.
No, he's talking about 2020. That sucked. When I left on 2020, it was 2:00 in the morning. Trump was 20,000 ahead in Pittsburgh, in Pennsylvania, 10,000 ahead in Wisconsin. He was at least 20,000 ahead in 5 states, and yet he lost. But what killed me was he lost Georgia and the Rust Belt states only by no more than 3 to 5,000 votes per state.
Yeah. And he literally lost in the waning minutes of the count.
Yes.
We watched it.
Yes, we did. It sucked.
Hey, Joe.
But anyway.
Back to China. Who do they want to start a war with?
Nobody. China wants to be stinking filthy rich. And if you start a war, you can only be rich for a little while. Because, in the beginning, money makes you money. It's called a wartime economy. And you can do a lot of things in a wartime economy you'd not normally do in a regular economy. But sooner or later, Europe or the United States is going to get pissed and put an end to it. And if you got somebody like Donald Trump or J.D. Vance in office, more than likely they're going to use a nuke.
I highlighted that already. Mark Eddie's not getting
to be honest, I'm going to tell you what worries me more than all this other bullshit, China or anybody else right now. So Germany, who started 2 world wars, is going to start number 3.
So they're sneaky and quiet.
They're not even being sneaky about this. So they said, all right, you know what? Ukraine, we're going to give you serious missiles that can reach anywhere in Russia. And we're taking all range restrictions off. So what do you think happens the first 4 or 5 missiles that hit Moscow or hit the Kremlin? What the fuck do you think is going to happen? He's going to use a tactical nuclear. That's what he's going to do. He's going to take a tactical nuke. I'm going to put an end to this shit right now, and he's going to nuke Kiev. And of course,
I think Germany would have learned by now.
Germany don't care. They're not going to nuke them. And, Germany's been asking for nukes. The first time I heard that, I'm like, no one can be stupid enough to give Germany nukes. No one can possibly be stupid enough to give Germany nukes.
They nearly took over the world twice.
Oh, they'll probably give them to them because but they shouldn't. The French are under that stupid treaty like the rest of Europe.
Trump was in trouble. Did you see what happened to the president and his male wife?
Shit.
She smacked him on the camera.
Yeah, she smacked the shit out.
I saw that.
And he had a look. I saw it frozen, like he had just been caught with his hand in the cookie jar. It was a pure look of horror. Now they're trying to blame Russia. It's Russia's fault. Russia.
The slap curled around.
It was that little blonde's fault that was standing next to him with her thing half ripped. That's whose fault it was. He got handsy with somebody, and you know who caught his ass and whooped the shit out of him. Yeah.
You know what? They called that a scarf. It was a scarf on that girl's neck.
Well, she was all ripped up. The thing was all ripped down her shoulder. There was a cut right there. It's something got crazy up in there. He got frisky, and Mama got really frisky. She tried to hold
Candace Owens series about Macron's wife. Like, I'm sorry, but you can dig yourself, and she tells you to, and you take a look at those details. That's no woman. I'm not even gonna say allegedly because it's been proven. Like, you watch that. That's pretty scary. Pretty scary stuff. So France
tried to hold.
We're really in trouble.
He tried to hold her hand. He tried to hold her hand, and she says, "I don't want nothing of it."
But that's the best part right there when he looks out and realizes he's being fucking filmed.
Yeah,
watch.
it's like,
oh shit.
Yeah.
That's priceless. I mean, that's one of them things you're like, fuck. No taking that back. Taking that back.
Apparently, because I seen this actually, Carol was covering this on because Candace Owens had covered it. He was covering it. They froze it right on his face, and he said, "Guess who's getting fired? That guy off to the right that opened the door too soon." Right? Because they didn't know the door was open. Now she won't hold his hand. She refuses.
She won't hold his hand. Look,
she's apparently been having a relationship with a staffer, a very young guy. So and then he knows about it. You know,
I don't know. Something went down, man. Anyway, Look, black-headed chick was going to go in there and save him.
I love his recovery though.
She was going to go save him.
We're just play fighting. That's what it is.
Like that's two hands. I didn't realize it was two hands on his face.
It was more of a shove than a slap.
I was like, bitch, get off me. And
yeah.
Well, he deserves whatever he gets. She should have just kicked him square in the nuts, man. I'd have paid money to see that one.
I dated somebody French, man. She's very physical. They're very physical, very emotional, very physical.
Yes, they are.
That was
the French are
crazier than Americans.
His wife was his teacher. She was 40 years old when she got involved with him at 16. That's not alleged. That's fact.
Right. No, that's true. That's true. Oh, that's true. She's quite his senior. It's 20 years, 30 years. It's a big difference. And she looks good for age.
She's 72. She's up there, man. And she's with some young guy in his 20s. So good.
Hey, more power to her, man. I ain't hating on her.
I'm gonna say
I don't blame Bill Belichick. People going after Bill Belichick. It's all going after men. And women are out there who are older, like especially Madonna, people like that, got 20-year-old boyfriends, man. Whatever. If they're happy, they're happy.
You know what? If I was 20 and I was fucking Madonna, she'd have to be paying me good money. Because first off, I was pretty hot when I was 20, and secondly, that thing is skanky, man. I'm not even sure.
Britney. You knew Britney.
Way back in the I guess
I didn't say how. Said you knew Britney. You guys all came.
We're good. We're all good. We're all good. I just had to make sure that I had to do some.
I didn't say anything. I just said you knew Britney.
But Joe's not wrong about Madonna. Back in either the late 80s or early 90s, and it was highly advertised that she was going to be in Playboy. So of course, every hormonal male in the country bought the magazine, and it's just like Joe said. She looked like a crank skank, and she just did not look attractive.
There was some hairy going on there, man. I remember I bought one.
She was also extremely hairy.
I was a teenager.
That's just come on, man.
I have to agree.
Yeah, she had
some hairy
armpit hair.
Grossing me out, man.
She really did.
I'm not paying it.
Armpit hair. Oh my god.
Yeah, armpit hair, leg hair, and let's just say there wasn't a landing strip. There was an entire.
That's another reason I couldn't live in Europe. I know a lot of women in Europe that don't shave, and
hairy, man.
Ladies, I'm sorry. I know that's being a chauvinist on my part, but really and truly,
I don't think it is. I'm sorry.
I'm thinking shave
because only the Whack-a-Bush movement started in America. It was 1980. It was 1980. I remember when the Whack-a-Bush movement started, and they all started going for the Mohawk. Remember the Mohawk, man? Now the landing strip.
I remember that. Mohawk with the rat tail.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Everything changed.
All I ever hear about usually, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be gross, but the 70s porno bush. It's missed.
Where?
Looks like you got buckwheat in the headlock.
I'm taking fifth in this one too.
Hey, can I tell you guys? Can I tell you guys my one and only my bartender friend's favorite joke, and it's the only naughty joke that I know about the our gang. The Little Rascals. You guys want to hear it?
Sure.
Sure.
I don't know if I want to hear this or not. It's just something I can wash out of my ears.
Kids, though.
Yes. So they're in school, they're in class, and Mrs. Crabapple stands up and says, "Buckwheat, I want you to use the word dictate in a sentence and spell it for me."
Uh-oh.
So Buckwheat stands up and goes, "DICTATE. Hey, Dollar, how do my dictate?"
I did not hear that joke. I did not hear that joke. No, Lordy.
It's innocent and dirty all at the same time. It is so funny.
You didn't have to be Buckwheat. Just somebody with a list. That was little.
Oh God, that had the funniest phrases. Him and Stymie, his older brother Stymie.
I keep hearing Eddie Murphy when you say that name back in the good old days of SNL.
Oh God, yeah. Eddie Murphy.
Don't that look fake, man?
Oh my God,
that's so AI. Are those his missiles?
It's AI.
That's China's new Mach 5 Mach 10 missile.
No, that's bullshit. That's all
look at the wheels and stuff. I mean, it doesn't. When I'm
why
looking
the
at
fake camo? Like it's neon. Like why bother?
You might camo. You might be in the woods. You might be in the desert. Maybe in the woods. You need to be somewhere.
Kurt says it's fake.
Yeah, that's right, Kurt. 100%.
You look at it bigger.
Okay, so maybe it's just an AI representation of what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah, maybe so. It's anyway. If it's real, it is badass.
You don't come out as one of the leading warring countries or military countries in the planet and go, here's our new missile, and it's a kid's cartoon drawing with a comic with a cartoon.
DS-17 missile China image.
Come on.
It says missile from China image credit PLA. I don't know who the hell PLA is. I have to look it up.
I'll bet you $5 they make AI pictures.
Let's see what it says. Mach 5 to Mach 10, 1,800 to 2,500 miles an hour.
No, range. That's the range.
Oh, that is the range. Yeah, it is. Oh, that's not bad. That's pretty decent range.
1,800 to 2,500. That can
I guess if it's busted Mach 10, it's 1,800, huh?
You probably, it's going to burn its fuel out faster.
We're gonna have to see him. We're gonna have to see him get up there and fly. I would think the United States would be aware of. Oh, and this is the Russian one. Isn't this the Russian one? There's one looks just like this is a Russian one. Yeah, there it is. Wow. This is a nuclear Russia that they say can strike anywhere in the world. Anywhere.
Wow.
Of course, you can tell this is definitely fake.
Well, it is. But if that is supposed to be, can strike anywhere, right, dude?
Yeah, strike anywhere.
Wouldn't satellites just pick that up and shoot it down? Or a drone?
Well, it's traveling. It's exceeding Mach 5, so you got to have something. So in other words, you got to hit it head on. You can't try to shoot from behind. You can have nothing's going to catch up with it fast enough before it gets to its target, unless you got something that can do Mach 10 and can be like a ramjet engine that can just jump there and be at Mach 10. But that's the problem with hypersonic. When it's traveling so fast, you have to have time to catch up. So if it's coming at you, you can probably shoot it down as long as it's far enough away. I mean, if it's within a couple of miles, you're probably screwed. But if it's more than like 20 miles, you can probably shoot it down because it's coming at you. You got time to aim and shoot and send all kind of happy shit at it.
Okay, this is going to sound like a stupid question. Does it have any cloaking technology? Because wouldn't you see it coming?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You're going to see this one coming. This is not a stealth. As far as I know, it's not. It's just a ballistic type missile. Besides, moving that fast, it's going to be hard to be stealthy at Mach 10. Because of the plume, it's going to be leaving such a hot plume. Let me see if I can find that. I didn't look.
80,000 miles up.
It's like 7,500 miles per hour. And
yeah, but I guess I'm just thinking, if God forbid somebody aims something like that at the U.S., you guys have the best military in the world, in my opinion, and you guys got to have technology to either.
Well, we're working on it. No, they caught us off guard with this. Because the United States was being all working on other stuff.
Also, Trump has his golden dome, man.
He's got to get his golden dome first.
Yeah.
So these are actually hypersonic glide vehicles, Jay. So you know what that means? They're launched on a ballistic missile, and then they come off and they glide to hypersonic speed. If that's the case, they can be shot down. But these were supposed to be designed for one thing, China said, was to kill our aircraft carriers.
Well, and probably hit DC.
And so first off, you got to get close enough to launch the bitch. Because if you launch it too far away, it doesn't matter. If it's more than, even 100 miles, they're going to shoot it down long before it gets there. Even if they got to send a squadron of F-35s to sacrifice their asses, they're not going to let it hit a carrier. No, it's just not going to happen that way. You'd have to come up, pop up in a submarine, pop one out. Whoop, they want a carrier. Unless,
the amount of stuff we have around a carrier group, I don't think
it's hard. I mean, it's hard because the destroyers and the cruisers all have to sacrifice themselves. That's part of being a captain.
Umbrella, I mean,
there has to be. When we were underway, there was 26 different ships with our battle group.
And if we're at war, it'll be full battle groups. So
35 or 40 of them, yes.
Oh, no, actually, when they usually do that, they usually do 3 carriers at a time, so there'll be over 100 ships. Yes, they don't. When they do that kind of stuff, they don't fuck around. It's What they're doing right now, where you see one battleship. If you go back and you look at like World War II, even World War One, but World War II and even wars after that, you'll notice when we go into a big thing, we usually have 3, maybe 4 carriers with us.
Well,
along
yeah,
with
the
all
big
their
battle of World
force.
War II was Midway, and our 3 carriers.
4 carriers at Midway.
No, we only
Yorktown
launched
was the Yorktown was the only one that almost didn't come back to.
Well, Yorktown came limping back from another
got its
battle.
deck blown off.
I forget what it is. Not Leyte Gulf, but something like that.
That was the first time. It was actually sent out to the Battle of Midway. It was actually
right. No, I know. Yeah. So the events of Midway are Coral Sea happens, Enterprise, Yorktown, and what was the other one we were just talking about?
Oh, there was the little one was there too. I can't.
Farragut, maybe.
Wasn't the Hornet? It was one of the small.
Yeah, Hornet. It was Hornet. Yes,
Hornet.
Hornet. So those are the 4 that were down there: Farragut, Enterprise, and what? So, but when they came back, the one carrier they thought it had sunk.
They thought the Yorktown had sunk. They thought the
Yorktown had sunk, and then it made its way back to Pearl Harbor just as they were gearing up the other 3 to go to Midway. Yeah, so they launched those 3, and then Yorktown followed up like 12 hours later with
they put a
minimal refit. I mean, they had holes. It still had holes.
Oh yeah, they had to go in and reinforce the deck, and they actually took out a section of decking and re-welded it all. They said they had half the Navy welders in the area down there. Well,
they had to resupply it with planes and ammo, everything. But then when it got out there, it finally did lose its life at the end of that battle. It was scuttled at the end of the battle.
Yeah. They could have brought it back. I don't know why they didn't, but they blew the whole top of it off at Midway.
But it was also, the whole flight deck was on fire. Everything was on
fire. They blew the deck. The deck was gone. It just blew it off.
Yeah.
At 3 or 4, there was a couple of kamikazes hit and some other stuff. It was a deadly little battle. Mm-hmm. But regardless, that's how we usually do it. So there'll be 100 anywhere. It depends on what we have available, but it'll be anywhere from 90 to 125 ships. And all armed to the fucking teeth. And with that many ships around, there's going to be a half a dozen or more submarines lurking around.
At least, probably 15.
Yeah, probably that's what I'm saying. But we're just being nice. And, and I bet you there's 1 or 2 Ohio class in the group, too, in case something.
I guarantee it, dude.
And I'll bet you one of the 4 Seawolves will be up there, too. We got 4 Seawolves out.
Well, what are the Ohio's carrying out? Triton 2s or something? I was reading about it the other day. They can carry anywhere from 16 to 20 warheads, and I think it carries 16 or 18 of them on board. It's
the LA class I believe carried 8. The Ohio class carries 16, and the Seawolf I think carries 24.
And then we've got and what people don't realize is that some of our Seawolf class. They don't actually have ballistic nuclear weapons, but they do have nuclear weapons that can be fitted to a what? What do you call them little missiles we like to shoot all over the world that nobody ever sees coming? What I can't remember the name of. They just look like little rocket things. They look like a thing out of. No, they're just cruise missiles.
Oh, cruise missiles. Yeah. Oh, Tomahawks.
Yeah. The Tomahawks. We can actually fit. I don't think you can fit anything bigger than like 5 kilotons, but still.
But the Tomahawk can be either torpedo launched or vertical stack launched, or it can be on a rack on deck and launched from the deck, like on carriers and other big ships.
I remember when one of the Navy guys told me how they launched ballistic missiles, and I looked at him like, "You got to be kidding me, right?" And he said, "No," because I'm like, he said, "No, it's a big rocket that flies out." And he says, "No, Joe, it's popped out like a cork." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said, "It's popped out like a cork. It's pressurized and popped out." He said, "It doesn't ignite until it gets out of the ship." He said, "Watch."
If you watch the original test for the Polaris missile, you'll see when it comes out of the water, there's a thing that falls off of it, kind of like the extra boosters on the shuttle rockets. Those things fall off first. It had a torpedo housing around the nozzle, and that propeller helped it get to the surface. And then it fell off, and then the engine ignited, and the engine bell would,
it was crazy the way they were set up.
Water and take off.
But people, it's like a bottle of champagne, basically. That's how we shoot our top secret ballistic missiles out of our submarines.
Yeah, but that would make sense, right? Because you wouldn't want it ignited till it was far away from you.
No, but
surface.
But I think the main reason they did it, if the sub was without power, it could still launch.
Oh, that makes sense too.
Yeah, because it's compressed air, so they could still launch it. And so I was kind of like, wow, okay, well that's cool, and
it makes sense.
But ladies and gentlemen who are listening to this show, whether you're an American or living in one of these other countries that we've been talking about tonight, if just our submarine fleet ever decided, look, it's time, they would wipe out the northern hemisphere in roughly about 40 minutes. And if they felt like it, they could wipe out the southern hemisphere along with it, probably in about an hour. And there would be nobody left on the planet except whoever managed to get on the ground. And if they were being, and if they were being real dicks. Yeah, there's a drone. That's the Chinese drone carrier. That's one of the articles. That thing is just a big old drone carrier. China's going crazy.
Oligarchs and stuff in China, though, that have a lot of money. Because when I first looked at that, I thought, where would the money come from? And then I think about it now. Yeah, there's a lot of people with a lot of money.
But that's the Chinese government paying for that. That's who's paying for that.
And it can release up to 100 units of small drones. So
and you know they're going to be bigger than that. So yeah, but we've got some stuff like that already, and we got something better than that too. We've got those badass Reaper drones that fly with the F-22s and the F-35s. Not they even fly with the F-18s. I would not want to. And they have drones on board. I didn't know that. So they can actually carry drones to stick on other airplanes that are used to kill targets around them. But they were showing the F-22. They were showing the 5 most deadly weapons in the world, and the F-22 made 5. F-35 didn't make the list. Kind of surprised me. 3 different types of nuclear weapons made the list. And I forgot what the other thing was, but
you know what? I get it, but one starts with one, and then so many countries now have nuclear weapons, and I understand you can make threats with it, but as soon as somebody launches it, you know what I mean? Like the whole world gets affected with this.
China had drone carriers, so it was Iran and Turkey. So the 3 of them. And South Korea just built
one. But you see, just the Reaper drone alone can take care of that. They can just roll up on in there and just unleash a bunch of firepower all over it and blow it out the sky. Even with the drones in there, it'd still blow it out the sky. They might get some drones out, but not all of them. So and if they're using their plane to control their drones, that'll screw them up as well. So big things, even though it's got a jet engine on it, big things don't usually go that fast. I mean, I think the B-52 goes around 650 miles an hour.
It might get up to like 750, 780.
No, that's over. It can't do over. It can't break the sound barrier.
No, I mean it's basically like a 747 for bombs. But I imagine once you drop the payload, it lightens the plane up. I'll bet you it goes 750, 800 miles an hour.
No, I can't break. If it breaks, it'll crash it. It can't go that fast. It's not. It's got Rolls-Royce engines. They just replaced the engines with Rolls-Royce engines. But for some reason, the plane is not designed. I guess because it's a 50-year-old airframe. I guess maybe that's one of the problems right there. They don't want to, because I mean, Sean's probably seen them old Corsair 2s we used to have in the Navy. Them fucking rattle trap pieces of crap. Yeah. Don't get me wrong; they were great bombers, but they could only go subsonic. They couldn't go supersonic. And about 650.
Good bombers.
They were great bombers, but every now and then I had to fly in one when we were going out to the bombing derby from the Nimitz, and them things were rattle traps, man. I mean, Jesus, they should have retired them things decades ago.
The B1 was
a badass plane.
The B1's a great bomber.
Oh yeah, well, A6 is a badass. They're still flying it too.
Yeah.
What was it, Michael?
The B1. Great
B1's badass. B2 Spirit's badass. But I don't care if you got a B2 if it's flying under 500 and somebody launches 1,000 drones in your face. I don't know, you might be in trouble.
But I tell you what, Joe, to be honest with you, I think our pilots, when I was in, they're just downright crazy, dude. They don't care.
Because they're the best pilots on the planet. That's why. First off, China. There's only 3 other countries that even have aircraft carriers, and China's only got 2, and they've really just now started learning how to land on the damn things. Russia's got 1 piece of crap left that I wouldn't want to land on because it looks like it might sink. No, and I think India's got 1 too. But no, and that's it. Unless Britain's got 1, but I don't. Britain does have 1. But I mean, so you got 5 countries that may kind of sort of know how to land on an aircraft carrier. Our pilots do it like it's nothing. They come in, you know.
If you look at the Russian aircraft carriers and all the other ones like that, they just launch off. They can only launch off 1 plane at a time, to where we can launch off 4 in 3 minutes.
Yeah, we can roll them off the carrier really fast. Yeah. And I mean, the carriers are designed to, and now we got these new fancy dancy launching systems on them. They are basically, you know what the launching systems are? They're just basically giant rail guns. And the damn plane is the ammo. That's a kinetic. That's what a rail gun is. Kinetic energy.
Mm-hmm. Same with the tungsten rods that they call that kinetic something similar.
Think about that, Jay. And if you took the plane off and you slid a piece of tungsten in there and just let it shoot out the front of the ship, I wonder what it would do to another ship.
Oh my God! Yeah, it'd be gone. It would be gone.
It'd be fun to watch, though. I wonder if the Navy's realized that. Navy guys, you got a weapon and a launching system. Damn, it's.
Well, I mean, the railgun's pretty impressive weapon. I mean, it shoots. What does it shoot? Is it shooting tungsten or is it shooting an aluminum billet?
I don't know if it's aluminum. I think it's
tungsten.
But isn't it uranium?
It's depleted
uranium. That's what I thought it was. Depleted uranium. That's why it was so expensive.
That's what they use in the A10 Warthogs.
That's the railgun.
Hey Google, what ammunition does the railgun shoot?
I don't know the answer to that specific question.
Google doesn't know.
Because you're a dumb bitch. Because Alexa wouldn't know either.
Small tungsten missiles. Hey Google, stop.
Okay, well, tungsten. I can go with tungsten. That works for me. It's a good metal.
I've seen depleted uranium, and that's what they use. That's what I've seen.
Well, you could have tungsten with the depleted uranium.
20 caliber weapons for A10 Warthogs to take out tanks, but they don't use it for the railgun. It might not even work.
Oh no, I've seen them use it on a railgun. I've been looking at those.
Oh, really? Yeah. I've seen them using an aluminum billet when they were testing them, but I think tungsten is probably. I mean, it seems to be
the one. I don't know what they were using when I was watching the bigger rail gun over when it was in the field blowing holes through the sides of mountains because they didn't know how powerful the damn thing was. And then I remember when they took it out to Bikini Island and found one of them old radiated ships, and they just kind of just cut the top of it off. I mean, it was like butter. It just like sliced it. It just, I mean, you could see it going down the thing, and it was just, Jesus, it just ripped it up like it was nothing. And they shot like that just to make you realize they could have just shot the top of the ship off and watched it slide off the other side. I mean, they could have just easily been doing it at the waterline, you know?
Yeah, Kurt, if you find that, send it to us. We can put it up.
Numerous asteroids nearing Earth. Oh, well, ain't that just sweet? Why do y'all wait till I like a block away before you tell us, assholes?
Then we talk
Sabotage in Russia. Attack shocked the country. Uh-oh. What is this? What was that, Sean? I'm sorry.
Well, didn't we talk about an asteroid if it hit the United States or whatever?
We talked about that, and we talked about the caldera.
Three asteroids that could hit anywhere on the Earth, a city within the next couple of weeks.
Wow.
So you gotta go buy extra food and get scared and be ready to run away. I got you guys in. This is cool. Ever since we've been talking about Noah and how old he was when he died, and all them back then, and how tall they were, that there were giants, all that. I started looking for giants, man. I started like exploring, and I found this. I found the finger. I found the finger, man. Let me share this with you. This was found in Egypt, actually.
Oh, I think I know which one you're going to put up.
Okay. Here we go. So this finger is like about 15 inches long, ultimately. About maybe 6 times the size of an average finger, And doctors looked at it. They all said it's a finger. A lot of them tried to dumb it down, saying it was probably, part of some syndrome or whatever. But the funny thing is, like, me being from the antique business a while back, when you're dealing with clothing from the past, it's always really small because people are very small. You know, so I mean, humans in general, way back then, were very small people. This, I believe, was the finger of a giant, and probably somebody who was in control in Egypt. You know, I mean, what do you guys think?
I've seen it before, and there was DNA taken from it or not?
Yeah, they tested it. They had doctors tested, scientists. You know, that's that there's like a banknote down there. They wanted to put a banknote to kind of
wow.
say, this is how
That's
big
possible.
it's a finger, same dimensions as a human finger. You know.
So let me think. Where was I? We went to one of them freaky shows one time when I was a kid. The guy was 8'8", I think is how tall he was. His finger was long, dude. It might have even been that long. He was huge. I mean, this guy was a monster. He could have easily wrapped his whole.
That's a long goddamn finger, dude.
Yeah.
The total numbers on that picture come out to 38.4 centimeters, which comes to 15.11811 inches.
So, I mean, if that's 5 times the size of somebody, 5 times their height or whatever, I mean, you're talking about somebody who's very big, 20 feet tall, maybe more, you know. But then when you look at the stories of Noah, Noah was said to be that tall, and he died when he was 950 years old. And there's a whole bunch of other things that you know.
Enoch was like 1,000 or 1,500 years old. There's kings on the kings list in Sumeria that are, alive for 40, 60 years, 40 or 60,000 years, and rule for 25 or 30. It's incredible.
But if those same giants really, the what they call the fallen angels, right? The ones who came down that they assumed were fallen angels or whatever, the Nephilim, Nephilim and all that. I mean, and that, Enoch mentioned that. Enoch only said a couple things in the Bible, and one of those things was about the Nephilim. But I think it's plausible, man. You start putting all the evidence together that there was another race that was here, very tall, very big, and I think that they started those different civilizations, man. In Egypt,
maybe not. Maybe it's just like the Romans or the Greeks. Who knows? It's sometimes I think that, and sometimes I think not. For me, I think the hardest part is the sheer lack of evidence on our planet. I mean, we find dinosaurs from 65 million years ago like fucking nothing. Trying to find ancient civilizations.
Like, they don't let people dig. It's very hard to. I know somebody who does it.
But Mike, they don't have to anymore. So if you've been, one of the things they do now is from space they use LiDAR. LiDAR has been finding shit all over South America, Central America, and Egypt. They find it. Now you might not be able to go visit it, but they can tell you if it's there or not, or how big it is, how many chambers there's in it, stuff like that. They can do that now. LiDAR can see down pretty deep. So it's a type, you know what we use it for, right? For killing terrorists and people in hardened shelters. So we can find stuff, and whether or not they let you do it or not, I don't know. Well, this guy's finger ain't that big. What's wrong with this guy's finger?
They're showing the comparison of a human finger.
His finger looks bigger.
They're showing the comparison of a human finger versus the 15-inch finger. Obviously, it's not next to it, but
yeah, I know.
It's got the same dimensions. It's got exactly the same dimensions as a human finger. So
I wouldn't put it past anything that there were some freaks running around, and might have been a couple giants here and there. I mean, what they considered the ancient gods may have been giants. They may have been from somewhere else.
I actually have a chart. I'm trying to find it now. It shows the difference in heights of the different legendary giants on the planet. As soon as I find it, I'll throw it up for you guys.
Wow, that's
if
crazy.
His finger was that big, how big was his? It
could have been 1 inch, man. You never know when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Want to call Mrs. Macron there? Say, hey.
I think the guy that holds the record's only like 5'3" or something.
Hey, Frenchie with Long Don Silver. I think it was like, what was that other guy?
Johnny Holmes.
I remember that he was really short, and I was like, "You got to be shitting me, right?" I was like, "Damn, okay, well."
Because God's got a sense of humor.
God's a third leg.
Yeah, I know.
God's got a sense of humor.
People are strange, man.
Hi, Mish.
Hey, Mish, how you doing?
I don't know. It looks like a pyramid, but
I can't see her on mine.
After they found it, they wouldn't let them dig anymore. The government came in and shut it down. So, interesting stuff, though.
The government probably wanted to get it for themselves, but stuff like that, you would think they would want to make public. That would make them a lot of money. And Egypt's not exactly the richest.
It's Islam. They got a whole different thing. It's Islam, and then to them, it's against Islam. It's
not really in Egypt. It's not. Egypt
story that is bad. You know what I mean?
But Egypt's not like that. Egypt's a little bit different than that. I mean, Cairo. If you go into Cairo and the museums,
go to Egypt and say Islam sucks and see how long you live. You know what I mean?
No, it's not. You don't have to do that, but they don't hold it against their science. Is what I'm saying. They're not like that.
Oh yeah, they do. They're not letting anybody.
You need to go visit the museum then.
They're not letting anybody do anything anymore. You know, they're trying to get stuff back. Actually,
they want to get stuff back, but they've opened up their museum. You can go and see their sciences. They tell you what they believe. It's
politically it's very thin, man. I got a friend.
Hello, Witty. What are you doing? It's
I got a friend in a place called Dahab. It's not too far from like Cairo, you know. It's really he's always inviting me. I'm like, you're out of your goddamn mind. I'm going to Egypt.
You know, I was thinking about that because I seen Sir John's thing cross my thing today. It got me thinking about it. I got a good friend that works at the Cairo Museum. I've been knowing for 25 years or so. His wife was a director for ICAR, for Egypt, actually, for ICAR. And she passed away, but him and I stayed friends. It's interesting because he tells me a lot of stuff, but I ask him about things like those underground things, what has he heard about it, and you know, because usually all that stuff eventually ends up at the museum or somewhere in the museum or around the museum. So 36 feet, man, there should be some kind of evidence of that.
That's King Og.
His head would be big around than my table.
They do. They find there's over 200 dig sites around the world where they found giants.
That's what they say, but I haven't seen proof of that.
Sardinia, they do. I have I call her my adopted daughter, but anyways, she didn't even know about the tombs there till I reminded her. She goes, yeah, I think I heard something about it, but she told me in the last couple of years they've been shut off to the public because I'd watched a documentary on it, and she said now they're completely blocked off. But
yeah, but I know that big dig up there going on in your country for a long time. But then they were pulling out stuff saying this is giant this is giant this, and somewhere along the line, even though I think most of the bones are authenticated, they found one bone. I guess it was a hoax, and they just went ape shit on the hoax. But I remember when they tested to two skulls, and two skulls I think were, I want to say they were 3 foot tall, 2 foot wide, maybe even bigger than that. They might have been 3 by 3. They were big. And
David Childress actually did a segment on the giant skulls that were found in somewhere in South America. I don't know if it was Peru or Bolivia, but somewhere down there. And they had a jawbone from the giant skull and a jawbone from a regular human man, and the jawbones were not only distinctly different, but the giant one was 10, 15 times bigger. It was huge.
Yeah. Definitely.
And there's a good photograph of a guy that found a leg bone of a human, and they put it on like a chart with like they.
Don't make me sing the song, man. No, we got to go to break.
The creature, but the bone was bigger than the man himself. He was taller than him.
JJ almost made me sing the song connected to the. No, we're not going to go there. We're going to go to break, ladies and gentlemen. Like good hosts.
Who's doing the music tonight?
Mike, hold on. We already told Laura Lee she could do it.
Let's take turns. I got a song. You'd like my song.
Well, I picked out Canadian music tonight. Let
Laura Lee do it for sure.
As long as it's Rush, that's cool.
I did. I tried to pick bands that weren't going to set off the AI bots, but they were okay.
Okay, these guys won't set up any. This band's from.
Well, you know what? Wait, how long are the songs? Mike, how long is your song?
This band's from Edmonton.
Wait, Mike, how long is your song?
My song is just
You're up.
Lori's up. Then we're gonna flip it next time around. Next time. Well, you keep going on break. What's up, chick?
What happened?
Okay, I don't know. Lori went on break. Well, what we're gonna do now? We're gonna have to play another song.
Another song?
No, not you. Get off the damn list. Hey, who's this person? Witty 109. You can come up here and play a song. You want to come play a song? Witty, come play a song.
Thank you.
Mark says play April Wine.
Come Am I going to jump off a bridge or something? I thought you had something queued up anyway earlier, Jay. Laura Lee.
They're in Facebook Messenger. I have to find them. She has music queued up. She's on her way.
Oh, okay. So we could talk a minute. So this person in the room with us is an alien, by the way. Shh.
Which one of us?
This one, it says no. This one down here at the bottom. You don't see her giving you.
I thought we were on break. I'm sorry. Thank God I could hear you.
We are on break. No, we are on break. We were letting y'all. Because we're not going to play no promos.
It's like, oh my God! I thought we were on break. So do you want me to play something or not?
Yeah, play
something.
Okay.
Unless
I thought it was upstairs.
We're going to let this evil person down here play some
Sorry.
music too.
Hang on. Okay. So I
now
picked
watch it. She's going to put the voodoo
music
on your asses.
So you guys get stuck with a Canadian tonight. Let's hope it doesn't play commercials.
What do you mean? Mike's a Canadian? Well, he lives so close to Canada, he might as well be a Canadian. That's what I'm saying, man. You're a fucking Canadian. You're closer to Canada than America.
I think they're more New York.
Yeah, that could be possible too.
Give me a minute here. We got so many people on here. Oh, right there. Sorry about that, dudes. Sorry about that, guys. Go on the screen. Darn it.
I put it up there for you. Go ahead.
Okay, go for it. It's up. I got it. Hang on. There you go.
That's going to be some alien probing song, right?
Can't hear it.
Yeah, I can't hear nothing. Where's the audio?
Even James Hetfield's laughing, man.
See, we caught poor Laura Lee off guard.
No, she was supposed to be ready.
Oh, man, y'all don't treat the girl right. I'm telling you what.
That's why she makes the big bucks. Gotta be ready.
You better watch it. She's like Michelle's number one. You better be careful, man.
Gotta be ready.
So that's not playing. You can't hear that.
No, I can't hear it. I can see it playing, but I can't hear it.
You gotta share the audio.
I don't know what's going on because the audio's not working. I guess it's
like
just
when
me
you hit
tonight,
present,
then.
you can share audio. There's like a little button that says share audio.
Yes, I know how to do that. Hang on.
Mine's always just set up like that.
I wonder how that
Hey, what you doing down there?
her on fire. Like he's just kind of like he's like just letting him rip.
Drugs.
You know?
Damn, dude.
Like he's
There's
just
a big conspiracy behind this
flaming
ban
farts.
because was the thing is, why does he look like Jim Morrison?
Okay.
Why does he sound like him? Get the
Maybe you know, maybe he's the guy. You know,
like Jim Morrison. Who says that? Oh my God! Have you seen?
Nobody says that, Michael. I'm making it up because I'm the conspiracy princess.
I'm saying he's blasting parts.
Michael.
I'm not saying anything about Jim Morrison. Uh-oh.
What
That's
the hell is that?
The blue of King Crimson and me with hair.
No shit. Oh
Yeah.
wow.
That's you, Jay?
Yeah, with the goatee and the mustache. And then Adrian Blue, he was the rhythm guitarist for the Talking Heads and lead guitarist and singer for King Crimson for a long time.
I'm trying to pick songs that aren't going to get the bot dude getting.
Nobody talks about King Crimson anymore. We should play some of it.
Oh, you really should be careful with that. Bobby, that is Robert Fripp, is very. Excuse me. He's very
man?
Hey, Jay, did you lose a lung there or something, man?
Some good shit, man.
Oh, man. Someone call 911, my friend. Jay's having a heart fucking attack on us.
He's a man choking in Pennsylvania, you know.
What are we going to do with this guy?
All this some good shit, man.
Y'all made me forget what I was looking for, damn it.
It's green.
Okay.
Actually, it's in a white piece of paper.
No, I don't want that. Get out of there. That's not what I was after. I'm looking for. Oh, this is what I wanted to show you. Where's it? Here we go. Where did it go? What? See, that's what happens when you have entirely too much shit open on your screen. It's okay. Let me come back to you right quick. All right. Everything's in slow mode today. Okay. There we go. Now you watch this beastified bitch, man. Hold on. Let me. This thing is beastified.
Wow, cool.
Okay, this is a new Gatling gun they just installed on this fucking thing. The Air Force and the Navy has lost their effing minds, man. Let me.
That's the Gatling gun.
Watch how this thing works. Let me get it playing.
Start from the beginning.
Oh damn!
But there's a couple of shots I'm going to show you. Look, they got the damn canopy covered on the damn thing. No, you can't take a photo of it, you asshole. It's a classified. Yeah. And you wonder how the Chinese get our shit.
Yeah, because we do stupid things like this.
Come on, we've seen enough of this. Move forward.
Let's go the one up.
So am I good to just do the one left base?
One up. Let's see.
No, they put music to it.
Come on, y'all. This is like grandpa stuff here. It must have been further up when I was watching it. F-35B, short takeoff, vertical landing.
Oh, they finally learned their lesson, and now the canopies go the right way, so they don't get pulled off by the wind when you're flying too fast.
This ain't even what I was watching. It's something else.
Pretty badass, though. What on earth is that thing that just opened up?
There's a big fan underneath there, man.
Oh, that's for the vertical takeoff system?
Yeah. Third most dangerous job in the world the guy's doing right there.
Yeah, if that guy hits that joystick one click too many, you're dead.
You stuck them in and take like it ain't. Come on, I thought we were doing vertical takeoff. This looks like we're fucking rolling around on a runway.
Well, he has to roll into the launching position first.
No, whatever. They can do vertical takeoff. Just take off.
They still have a designated area on the tarmac for that.
It's one little crappy engine. Oh, look, it's got extended fuel tanks on it.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
Dude, you're rolling forward. That's not vertical takeoff.
Yeah. That's tall. That's short takeoff.
I know the things can just take off like a Harrier does. So I don't know what the hell that was about.
There it is. There it is. That's badass.
Oh, well, where'd you?
Oh, what's that? What's that? Yeah, have some breakfast sandwich.
It's almost midnight, you lunatic.
I have to send him a bill.
He's advertised for McDonald's, man. That's horrible. We apologize to him, man.
There's the vector thrust nozzle.
Don't buy your food from the clown.
What we got going on here?
Oh, this is the ground. Yeah, this is the Gatling gun test.
Lecture 2-1 splash.
There's a missile. Whoa!
Missile, yeah.
Oh, and we're just gonna go hover around so somebody can blow us up. See, Rolls Royce. That's what the B-52s got in them too. Well, not those, but
yeah, it was vertical landing, not takeoff. It was called the British jet jumper, which was the first.
The Harrier jump jet.
We called it Harrier, but the British called it the jet jumper. It was their technology.
But this ain't even the one I was watching earlier. That's the one I want to see. Where's it at?
I've seen the Harrier in flight. It's a very neat weapon. Outdated though.
It just pops out of the side. I mean, it's just a little door that opens up and it just starts blowing shit up. Come on, show the little thing. I mean, I don't even see it right now.
Here it is.
Supposed to be some new beast of a gun.
It's a Marine one. It's a Marine one.
Well, they all use them. I don't know why we decided to settle in one plane. I always thought that was stupid, but the enemy finds a flaw, you're screwed. So it kind of looks like a tadpole. Yes, we don't need to see all that stuff, people. And what is this it's loading up? 25mm shells. What the hell is he shooting with that? He ain't shooting airplanes with that, right?
Rotary cannon,
but I mean, that's 25mm. That's way too big for a shooting at it. I guess you could shoot airplanes with it.
Tank or a boat.
Right, why? Boom! It pops out the side. Look at this thing.
That's badass.
Look at this. Look at that. Catch the damn plane on fire. Look at this thing. It's just beastified.
That's fantastic.
Oh, my God.
Is there one on the other side, too?
I don't know. I've only seen one fire on the left side. Okay, that's anyway, we're gonna get out of there now. But
what's he tucking in, man? I'll show you my favorite plane.
He's tucking in some cocaine, man. That's what he's tucking in.
My favorite plane. Yeah, he probably is tucking in some coke, man. A little cokehead. This is my plane right there.
Beast.
Equipped with some systems, these aircraft are now tasked with one of the hardest missions in the playbook: destroy launcher teams before they hide. But little do the Houthis know, this old dog has a few tricks up its sleeve still. On March 29th,
3 redundant systems. I mean, it's beast.
Warthogs from the 124th Fighter Wing and 300 ground crew from the 190th Fighter Squadron deployed to the Middle East. This deployment marks the largest such deployment of this infamous aircraft in 3 years, and it's for more than just showing the flag. Operating out of Al Dhafra Air Base in the UAE, these aircraft are giving a big helping hand to the Navy as they battle a foe with ever-revolving tactics. This is because the Houthis are developing so-called shoot and scoot tactics to avoid detection, and the basic playbook goes like this. Houthi gunners receive targeting data from Iranian IRGC advisors via Starlink terminals. After getting the data, the Houthis roll out camouflage missile launchers from mountain caves. These missiles are typically C-802s that carry a 165-kilogram armor-piercing payload and can reach targets up to 180 kilometers away. Although not the most advanced missile in the world, fire enough of them and there will be more than a few close calls. However, because the Houthis know that as soon as they fire, the US is going to eat them like a Nikocado avocado mukbang, so they have to displace.
What the hell
this
is that?
usually means rolling the launchers out of hidden caves, tunnels, or valleys, firing, and just as soon as the missile leaves the rails, tucking it away. This is where the A-10 comes in to put a stop to this. The first confirmed strike came on April 1st. After taking off from their airbase, the Warthogs were on station within 18 minutes. Thanks to its 11,000-pound fuel tank capacity, the A-10s can loiter over target areas for up to 90 minutes before having to head back to base. However, when accompanied by KC-135 tankers, these pigs can stay airborne as long as they have ammunition on board. And oh boy, does this thing have a pretty mean business end. See that barrel sticking out of the nose? That's the GAU-8A Avenger rotary cannon that stretches nearly 19 feet along the belly of the aircraft and pokes out through the nose. It fires 30mm armor-piercing shells at 3,900 rounds per minute. Wow. Each round is almost half a pound and tipped with depleted uranium. With this capability, it can shred tanks in a matter of seconds. And against soft-skinned vehicles or exposed personnel that make up Houthi launcher teams, well, the results speak for themselves. On that day, a circling RC-135 rivet joint intercepted Houthi radio signals that they were going to launch a strike soon. Because the U.S. had destroyed practically every secure communications method the Houthis had, enemy commanders in the field have to rely on regular civilian cell phones to talk to each other, which makes finding these guys that much easier. The attack was supposed to go down in less than 20 minutes, so the two A-10s punched it at full power to get there. With a max speed of about 420 miles per hour, it would take roughly 18 minutes to get there, with not a second to spare. As the A-10s flew across the mountains and desert of central Yemen, the pilots are using this device to scan for the targets. This is called the AN/AAQ-28 Lightning Pod, and is how the pilot ensures that the A-10's payloads make it on target. Located here on a pylon at either Station 2 or 10, depending on pilot preference, the pod measures 87 inches long and is 16 inches in diameter. Inside this roughly 440-pound pod are a series of high-resolution, forward-looking infrared sensors, laser designators, and CCTV cameras. The pilots can spot man-sized targets up to 28 miles away. But for this fight, the A-10s were going to get up close and personal. As the pilots neared their time on top, they could see the Houthis blissfully unaware as they rolled their fully loaded launcher out of a cave. With no enemy radars up due to U.S. forces knocking them out in prior strikes, the A-10s came in low and slow. At a distance of 6,500 meters away, they let loose with their cannons and gave them the burr the aircraft is so famous for. Although each aircraft carries roughly 1,150 30mm rounds inside an internal drum magazine, the pilots typically limit their bursts to 1 to 2 seconds to conserve ammo and prevent overheating.
That's awesome, though. Yeah.
It is a beast. It's a beast. All right, moving on.
Awesome.
Warthog.
I've seen it in person at a local museum that I was at, and man, the thing is just.
No, I actually worked on the damn things, man. They're a beast.
Really?
I've seen them up close too.
When I was
flying, I have seen the Harrier jump jet flying. That was cool as shit.
Well, yeah, a lot of the
A-10 can take a lot of shots. Like it was made to get shot, and then it can still fly. I mean, you'd be surprised, like how mangled it can be, and it can still operate.
It has three. Usually, most of them have 3 redundant systems, 3 separate hydraulic systems. So that way you don't lose hydraulics when you come in. And yes, they still use old hydraulic systems. So it's strange the way they work, but they're beasts. I mean, they were designed. They're tank killers. That's what they do.
They're flying
tank killers. Well, they're tank killers and helicopter killers. They like to kill helicopters with them too, because all of that can be killed with their Gatling gun. They don't have to waste missiles on. It's I know. They can save their missiles for when their fast jets come for you. That's what they're for.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even have to hit the actual helicopter body. All you have to do is hit the rotors, and bam, it just fall out of the sky on its own.
You know, it's funny. They don't give those Warthogs no air cover. I guess they don't really need it out there. They control the skies, but in a battle scene, in a real scene, there would have been some F-22s or some F-35s. No,
the benefit of the A-10 Warthog is, like the guy said, they're low and slow, but they're heavily armored, like Michael said. And at those speeds, they don't look it, but they're extremely maneuverable.
It's okay. We're good.
For some reason, it's like my favorite plane. I mean, it's not as pretty as some of the other ones. It's not as fast as some of the other ones, but it's just damn cool, man.
It's a working weapon. one of the most proven platforms we have.
It's a beast. That's why they were going to get rid of them, and then they decided not to get rid of them.
Wasn't it the Air Force was going to get rid of them, and then the Navy said, no, we'll take them?
Yeah, and then the Air Force said, no, we're going to keep them. And then they ordered some more and upgraded some frames and did some work on them. So they're going to keep, I think, another 20.
The Navy, yeah.
Another 20 years. And then the Navy was talking with Lockheed. They want a version of the F-22. So because Boeing's doing the new, what is it, the F-47 or whatever it is. We got a clip on it somewhere, but if we're not going, if the Gen 6 one isn't going to space, then they need to redevelop it. I can guarantee the Chinese and the Russians are thinking about this, even though they probably don't have the technology to do it yet. But you can bet your butt they're thinking about it. We should do this. We should dominate space before anybody else has a chance to.
This is from a museum in Elmira, New York. They got a huge plane collection, man. A lot of cool stuff. That's the A-10. It's a beast. It's just a beast,
Yeah, they're mean aircraft, and they had them on. They had pictures of them on Alvin Callender Field where the platoon was stationed with us, and they were showing one engine completely blown apart, chunks of wings missing, undergut missing. These things are still flying in the sky. You're looking at them going, there is no way that thing was flying, and it was flying. They had the video of it flying. I was like, look at this crap.
Look at that. It's a beast, man. I love it.
Yeah.
It's simple, isn't it? It's simple, but it's so effective, man. This helicopter gave me a freaking experience, man. Like when I was walking through the place taking pictures, and I stepped in front and looked at it, I had like a flashback on some crazy stuff. Like I don't know, it was really weird, man. It was really weird. Like there's something that really pulled me towards it. Like I used to fly one in a war or something, But
is that a Huey?
Look at this, man. The Norden bomb site. Remember, like how secret it was? It was such a big deal, and anybody, if the aircraft went down, they had to like destroy it so the Nazis couldn't get it.
Does anybody know where the nickname Huey came for the Bell helicopters?
No.
So in Vietnam, they were, I believe the designation was UH-109 Bell helicopter. The UH stood for utility helicopter, but since it was just a U and an H, they just went Huey, and it became Huey.
Wings of Eagle Discovery Center. You know what? It was like $10 to get in. It's worth every penny, and it goes towards a huge.
Oh, that's a nice plane. What is that?
I don't know. It's one of the ones that are outside. There's a whole bunch outside.
It looks kind of like a P-38, but it's not a twin fuselage.
What does it say on there? Let's see.
Hey, Lord, does Canada have planes like these?
Some, yeah.
Yeah, they got fighters.
We have air shows that come through here and things like that. We don't have the military you guys have, though.
Yeah, but and they buy planes and stuff from us too. There's stuff like that. Look, there's an A7 right there. Look at that hunk of shit.
A7 Corsairs.
Yeah, that's actually a Corsair 2 right there.
Actually, where I live.
Synchronicity.
Go ahead.
I got a picture of a Corsair I want to share once Michael's done. You guys will love it.
Oh, I love the old Corsairs from like Baba Black.
F-16, Blue Angel.
A7.
It looks like a Tomcat.
Let's say
that
F-16,
is an F-14 Tomcat.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, a Tomcat.
Awesome, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, they're
beast. Great place. You know what? It's a nice, fun place to hang out, and you can actually touch things and like check things out. You can't get inside necessarily. But
we could. We had an F-89 Saberjet that was gutted, and it was on the lot at one of our parks when I was growing up as a kid. You could climb through the engine well and up into the cockpit. It was cool as hell.
Yeah, I love
you can go to if you ever in
Corsairs. This is the Corsair, man. I mean that one that Mike showed was pretty cool, but let me get this one up there for you.
He's going to go with that Baba Black Sheep one.
This is it, the Vault F4U Corsair.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's the original.
Based and land based.
Isn't there a bigger museum in Pennsylvania for aircraft, like a big one?
Oh, there might be.
Right?
But look.
There's a big one in Florida.
Or is it Ohio? Was it Ohio? I gotta look it up, man.
You know, there's always a Smithsonian has a big one.
Yeah, Smithsonian.
And then the one down in Florida is huge. They got an SR-71 there. You can get out and check it out. Yeah, it's kind of cool. And then,
it's at the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum Annex near Dulles. It's on the Dulles property actually, and they have I believe they have one of the original test bodies for the space shuttle. I don't know if it's one of the non-space ones. I think it might be the Enterprise, but one that it can't fly in space. They have the wing body that crashes in the $6 Million Man movie TV show, like in the beginning, that plane that crashed. They have several of those. All of those are like space testing bodies for coming back from outer space. And they have also allegedly the D-7 battle cruiser from Star Trek.
Cool.
The Klingon spaceship model. It's called the Silver Hill facility, I do believe.
That's cool, Jake.
I was reading, Ukraine pleads for Taurus missiles after witnessing destruction. Germany says no. Oh, wait, Germany said they were going to give them to them. What happened? The U.S. must have called them and said,
I'll bet you Trump called them up and said, that's not going to be a good idea.
It's the National Museum of U.S. Air Force in Dayton, Ohio. Wow. They've got Air Force version of Air Force One. I think it was Kennedy's.
Oh, cool.
What Air Force base is?
Well, if it was Kennedy's, it would probably be a DC-10 or DC-11.
Boeing BC-137C SAM 26,000 presidential aircraft.
That's close.
I'd love to go there, man. I do a lot of train museums. Train museums when they're empty is the best.
They're cool because you can usually walk through the different cabin cars.
I just like the machinery and the history of it and the transportation history. Really cool stuff, you know.
Well, you would love this park then when you were a kid, Michael. It's called Cabin John Park. It's in Rockville, Maryland, where I grew up. And they had, like I said, they had the F-89 Sabre jet. It was the real plane. They gutted and took the engines out, and they left part of the cockpit, like the joystick and like part of the, I guess it's the sled for the rocket chair. They left that in there. But we could walk through the engine. We could climb up into the cockpit and then out the front or out the back with that, whichever. And they had another couple planes too. I don't know what they were. They might have been a F-109 Starfighter. But they also had a little choo-choo train that I don't know if it was steam driven or what, but a human man could barely fit on the engine that drove around these little cars. But kids could sit in them, and it was you get a 10, 15 minute jaunt around the inside of the park, and then you get off. Very cool place to hang out. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just in Strasbourg a couple of years ago, and they've got a huge collection of trains. And you can ride. There are trains you can ride.
Huge in Germany.
Takes you out to the hills. No, Pennsylvania.
Well, no, but I mean, train collecting is a huge thing in Germany.
Oh yeah.
I mean, people design the decor of their house around the HO scale models that they collect.
So is kink. They're very kinky people in general.
They're also extremely strange. They're not as strange as the French, and they're not, again, as strange as the Japanese. I think the Japanese have the market on strange.
Japanese is number one strange.
I agree. I
still trying to figure out what they're doing. Hey, what are we doing? I don't know, man.
So, let's get back to the World War III thing. So, if Germany just said they're not sending those missiles,
no, they said they wasn't sending these. I think actually, this looks like they were asking India for these missiles, and Germany said no. So India just used one of these to shoot deep inside of Pakistan and blow the living shit out of them. Russia also uses these. They cruise at Mach 3, and they got a decent range on them. So I think they're wanting to get them from Germany's like, whoa, wait a minute now. These are pretty big bombs, you know. And see, the problem here is...
Kurt, can you send it to Sean or one of us on Facebook Messenger?
Mm-hmm. So does the Ukraine have a nuke hidden somewhere? I mean, after all, they had a shitload of them.
Does Ukraine have a what now?
A nuke. I mean, think how many they used to have.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I'm sure they had some in there when it was the USSR.
No, they had a shitload of them when they were the USSR.
Yeah, and Georgia was the other big place that had a lot of them.
There are 250 unaccounted for nuclear warheads in the Ukraine.
Do you think unaccounted for? Or do you think absconded with by Zelensky and his party?
Could be any which way.
Yeah.
Actually, they're probably were put in reserve somewhere.
I'll bet the CIA knows.
This is when the USSR collapsed. That's before Zelensky was involved.
I'll bet you dimes to dollars, Michael, that the CIA knows where those 250 missing nukes are.
Oh yeah, man. It was probably KGB.
Well, I would bet you that most of them have been retrieved. We just haven't been told, because somebody by now would have used one. Anybody in the Middle East that got their fingers on one would have used one. I don't think they fell into
bad hands. I think they were just, let's say, creatively not accounted for.
They busted a Greenpeace guy trying to buy one for $200,000.
Wow!
They were making the deal, and they busted him when the deal was going down.
So much for your Greenpeace views.
He probably just wanted to prove a point. You know what I mean? That you could.
Oh, so but he wouldn't have launched it and set it off.
Still have to be able to arm it, launch it. I mean, there's, I mean, you can make a dirty bomb out of it, but if you don't have the right launch vehicle, it ain't gonna work.
Well, I would assume somebody who's selling a nuclear weapon is also selling the control devices and key cards that make it work. Otherwise, it's just a wall hanger.
Yeah. It's a crazy world out there, man. Watching all this robot stuff going on. And they just gave Atlas 3D vision, which is interesting, Oh, and the 3D printer printed up a robot that walked away after it was printed. How cool is that?
Walked away where? Like
they walked out. It was able to walk and move on its own after it was printed. I mean, that's the beginning of the end right there.
Yeah, that's kind of Terminator stuff going on right there.
I don't know. They got a lot of weird stuff going on.
This is an honest question for the FBI and everybody. What happens when these robot owners start arming them and sending them into banks and robbing banks? I mean, like it's gonna happen. Crime is gonna happen. As a private investigator, I think about crime a lot and how to stop it. And how to be creative about it. You know what I mean? But what do you do when there's thousands of them and there's no way to trace it, no repercussion, nothing like that. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. It's a question for the ages.
Don't they have a thing out now where they got machines that shoot off? They're like flamethrowers.
You could get
anybody know?
What was the question, Sean? I'm sorry.
Have you seen the things that are like flamethrowers that are like mechanical?
No.
Oh yeah, I've seen him. I know what he's talking about.
I was thinking about that the other day.
They got ones with M50s on them and M40s and shit. They got all kind of crap now.
Well, I mean, the chemical was invented in I think the early 30s by DuPont in Delaware. But the original formula, from what I understand, I mean, it's gelatinized gasoline for the audience who doesn't know what napalm is. And the original formula allegedly, as soon as it reached zero temperature in an oxygen-rich atmosphere, burst into flame. So its ignition point or its flash point is 0 degrees Fahrenheit or like 2 degrees Celsius. So the original, like the World War I and early World War II chemical guns, the flamethrowers, they didn't really have to have a chemical pilot light. Most of them did just to make sure it lit. But the napalm, when it came out of the nozzle, it hit oxygen and it would just. But then it also expanded and stuck to everything that it touched. That's all I know about flamethrowers.
So the F-22 has a thing called the Super Cruise on it. If it flies at a really high altitude, it can fly faster and longer. They just say they don't recommend it because it's wear and tear in the engine and fuel consumption, and it brings down their stealth. But it can get to a target much faster than what it's actually been said it can get.
But also, if they're 85,000 feet up, almost none of our enemies can touch that.
That's what they're saying. And they can just dive down out of nowhere.
Sorry, Sean. You said it again.
That's the 47's going to have it too.
Oh, there we go. Wow, very cool.
Yeah, see,
very cool.
F-47 and its wingman drone, huh? They're gonna come with them. Look at this shit. It's gonna be built with the planes. They're gonna have specific drones for specific planes. Isn't this getting crazy?
Cool. Well, we'll do the manta ray first.
Well,
this thing is badass, Joe. Have you seen this?
All right, hold on. I'm not on the screen.
I've sent two other pictures, Joe.
You think Putin's crazy enough to use a nuke? I guess.
Yeah. So no, let's look at it this way. I don't think right now he would use a nuke, but I think if stupid Lizinski is stupid enough to shoot inside of Moscow or hit the Kremlin or shoot into St. Petersburg or something like that, he's going to nuke them. Especially if he does a lot of damage and kills a lot of people. Because if the Germans give him the missiles that they said they were going to give him, and Europe said they're going to do the same thing, so if he's got 150, 200 of these really advanced deep range missiles, and remember, they've already knocked out Russia's missile defense shield along the edge of their territory, so there's nothing to stop them. They'll have to send up fighters to stop them. And by the way, Lizinski just killed one of their fighters with sabotage the other day. They don't even know how he did it. One of their
it was a suicide bomb. The guy walked up to him. I saw the video, and he blew himself up.
That was one of them high dollar ones. So it's getting crazy.
Crazy stuff.
So, but look at it like this: you hit, the Kremlin with a 1,000-pound bomb. Let's say it kills a bunch of people. Might even get what's his name? I doubt it, but if you do that, that's active war. And if you drop 4, 5, or 6 more in the city while you're doing it and kill, say, 200-300 people or 1,000, 2,000 people, because Moscow's a big city, then I don't know. I think the repercussions are going to be harsh. Yeah, if he doesn't drop a nuke, he's sure going to invade with everything he's got. There'll be F-30s flying over him. There'll be all kinds of. And what are we going to do? Step in? Because we've said from day one, no, don't do this because it's going to escalate. And Trump's already don't do this, but it's going to. But if it escalates, we're kind of stuck. We now have a big treaty over there for all kind of minerals, and we're not just going to let Russia bully us out of it. So
force their hand. It doesn't matter where you do something, but especially Russia, you can't them for retaliating. If I was.
Well, it scares me. Russia will use like a 2-kiloton tactical nuke.
Yeah, they'll send a message,
and that'll kill 50,000 people or so. It'll devastate most of Kyiv, or it wouldn't even kill that many. Probably about 20,000, but contaminate a big area over the area. And if the wind's blowing the wrong way, it'll just blow back towards Russia. But still, you'll have all of that to deal with, and then Europe's the one that's going to get pissed. For us, there's really no dog and
we're far enough away that we don't even actually get involved. We can stay away from it.
And if he wants to start something with us, then that's just taking a war on from 3 sides. He's going to get his ass kicked. So Europe will probably use a nuke. I don't know on what, but they would probably use a nuke on a strategic base if Russia. But since Kyiv is a whatchamacallit target, not a military target, but a civilian target. I don't know, they might use it on a civilian target.
But there are plenty of other places they can kick the Russian military in the virtual nuts with. They could take out Kapustin Yar, one of their major advanced fighter research program areas. They could take out some of their advanced special access programs that we don't know about, that I'm sure NSA, NASA, and the CIA probably know all about them. We can definitely hurt them, but
I would take out one of their hardened nuclear facilities. I would just take it out.
Yep.
And say, okay, you want to escalate, and then because at this point China's still out of this, and the United States is still out of this. India is not in this. It's just Europe, and Russia, because that's really what this is. It's just Europe and Russia.
Yeah.
So, at that point, do you stop and just end it, or do you go for gold? See, if they're going to do this, I hope they wait a couple of years, because by then we'll have a missile defense shield, a good one.
Well, I don't think that's a good segue. I don't think that's anything they're really scared of. If this is real, this DARPA manta ray, this looks pretty cool. Should we look at it?
Yeah, click it on. You got it up there. See what it says.
Let's see what it's 11 minutes, so maybe we'll have to skip through some of it.
Yeah, just skip along.
The writing is on the wall. War is here. China wants Taiwan and is ready to destroy half the world if it needs to. The United States must prevent that from happening, and it knows just how to. By building a new class of weapons that have never been seen before, but draws inspiration from the drones in Ukraine, which have proven mighty capable of giving a world power something to run from. But China isn't sitting idle either. The country is preparing for war.
Why would you put a big box like that on your Navy submarine?
When motivational quotes are put aside, the world remembers that weapons are the only way to win a war. China is therefore building an entire arsenal of weapons capable of taking on the most powerful military forces in the world.
Let's go to
Development of
video game ads.
Revolutionary technologies for use by the military has studied this animal to take advantage of its ease in the seas. Replacing wing flaps with energy-efficient propellers, DARPA is building a new class of long-duration, long-range, payload-capable, manta ray-inspired sea drones capable of persistent operations in dynamic maritime environments.
Insane, yeah.
This new class of sea drones is also called manta ray. The effectiveness of sea drones in actual conflict has been impressively displayed in the war in Ukraine. And so millions of dollars in investments are going towards this cause in the United States. The development of the manta ray began in 2020 when DARPA kicked off the program with the thought of creating a large underwater drone that can operate independently of manned vessels and ports once underway. DARPA awarded contracts to Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, and PACMAR Technologies to work on the program.
Holy cow.
The first phase of the program saw all three companies design and conduct preliminary testing on novel approaches to core components of the manta ray, including energy management, UUV reliability, biofouling and corrosion control, navigation, and undersea obstacle avoidance, among other areas that directly enable long-endurance missions. However, in an interesting turn of events, Lockheed Martin was out of the running by the end of this phase.
Oh, not so cool for the whales.
In 2021, only Northrop Grumman and PACMAR Technologies made it to the second phase. In the second phase, the two selected companies must each develop full-scale prototype Manta vehicles. Their vehicles must include threat detection, classification, and communications capabilities, high-efficiency propulsion systems, and the ability to withstand the rigors of the undersea. All of these while remaining completely autonomous or requiring little human interaction to achieve its mission goals.
Wow, it's got a towed sonar,
Northrop
right?
Grumman has made tremendous progress in this cause. The company has not only built a full-scale manta ray prototype, but has also completed full-scale in-water testing. The testing took place off the coast of Southern California in February and March 2024. Testing demonstrated at-sea hydrodynamic performance, including submerged operations using all the vehicle's modes of propulsion and steering, buoyancy, propellers, and control surfaces.
It's got a caterpillar.
Northrop also proved the vehicle's impressive modularity. The company shipped the prototype in subsections from the build location in Maryland to its test location in California. This alone demonstrated Northrop Grumman's plans of a manta ray that's easy to ship, assemble, and deploy wherever the vehicle may be needed anywhere on the planet, without taking up valuable real estate inside ships, submarines, or other naval facilities.
Yeah, that's kind of like the new
Then once deployed,
J-35 Chinese jet looks
efficient,
like.
buoyancy-driven gliding to move through the water, as it did in the recent test. A highly successful test, too, that enabled Northrop Grumman to assess the most crucial subsystems to make the manta ray function as designed. The sea drone will dive deeper than any submarine on the planet, down to the ocean floor.
Wow.
Here, it does another first. It harvests energy directly from the sea, ensuring that it never runs out of power. In a 2022 DARPA video, the vehicle achieved this by extending what appears to be a retractable wave energy harvesting device that converts the movement of water into electricity.
Oh my God.
So unless the impossible happens and all the water in the world
Then why are they
dissipates,
telling us all of
the
this?
manta ray could, in theory, operate forever. As it recharges, the vehicle hibernates with nearly no detectable electromagnetic emissions that could reveal its presence to enemy vehicles. This radio silence, the impressive diving depths,
and overall low observability design give the Manta Ray an unrivaled level of stealth, even when up against some of the stealthiest submarines in the world. Combined with a versatile weapons bay and ultra-quiet, ultra-sensitive hydrophones, this sea drone can be employed for command, control, and communications tasks, strike missions, and even surveillance. With more upgrades, it could grow larger into anything it needs to be, like an actual Manta Ray. It would be, however, incomplete to discuss this growth of DARPA's Manta Ray into a go-to weapon without discussing the impact of sea drones in the Ukraine war.
Hey guys, I gotta go
sea
to
drones
bed.
are generally small,
All right, baby, be
unmanned
good.
vessels that.
That
Good
was
night. See you
fairly-
tomorrow night.
Right, Sean.
Be good. Be good.
Good night.
Is Joe still here? Looks like he's off camera.
I don't know. Yes, he is. We'll put him on.
No, I'm
What
here.
happened, Joe?
I ain't going nowhere. I'm sitting right here listening to y'all.
So-
It's no, I just put this up. That was just putting this up. That's the new F-47. That's the new and it's drone that flies with it. Actually, it's going to have two that fly with it.
Does it launch from the F-47 or just launch?
No, that's like that flies off of a carrier or off the ground. It's not all that much smaller than the jet. It carries a full payload.
Wow.
It can go higher, go faster, and have more fuel and do more maneuvers because there's nobody on board.
It's very similar. I mean, we started that technology in the 60s and 70s with the SR-71 platform. With the it had several different types of drones it could launch. Autonomous drones back then, which is people don't realize, but these drones weren't weapons grade, but they had huge packages of cameras and sensors and detectors, and were quite capable of taking very, very detailed photographs of very sensitive Russian installations.
It's I don't know. I tell you one thing. I want to see us. We need a fighter that goes to space. We need to stop screwing around. We need to start building a fighter that can go to space.
Isn't the Aurora space plane supposed to be also transport and fighter? A combination.
No, the Aurora. Wait, hold on, this damn thing's jumping around. I don't know. The Aurora is a big craft. It's not like a fighter. It's big.
Yeah, I was just saying it's more like a combination freighter, bomber, fighter kind of deal.
So if you listen to the description they give you in Stevensville, because that's where one was seen that was actually in flight. So, they reported as a UFO. MUFON picked it up as a UFO, but it's not actually what it was. So when I went to Stevensville, I went to the All Women's Conference. I was invited to come down and do press, and I was down there with some friends, and we went out to the campfire, and they were talking about what they had seen. And first thing the guy says, well, there was chase planes. I'm like, what do you mean there was chase planes? There were no chase planes flying around with no UFOs. Then he says, as he passed over, he described the rivet layout of the front cone. It's like rivets.
Rivets, it's not space made.
So I'm thinking, okay. I'm like, what exactly is this? And then so I called a friend of mine's sister who works out at Boeing, and she's way the hell up there. Anyway, and we talked for a while, and I said, look, I'm in Stevensville, and I told her what we saw, what was going on, gave it a date and time, and she looked it up, and it was an Aurora. It was actually, it was flying straight over there because Stevensville has, right there by Stevensville, they have two nuclear power plants. So it's a no-fly zone. So this whole thing stayed in a no-fly zone all the way to George Bush's ranch and then turned around and came back. And what was funny about it, it showed up on radar. And there was also an F-16 squadron out flying that night doing routine missions, study, whatever how you want to call it, training. And they were never scrambled to go over there to see what it was. So that means they knew what it was. It turned around, went back out to California, and went back to its home. Now, what's interesting about this thing, and I knew when I heard the guy's description of the engines, I knew exactly what it was. He said, yeah, it was going by, and you see him there was 8 on the bottom, 8 on the top, little squares, and they kind of started pulsing a little more red and a little more red, and then all of a sudden they turned white, and the damn thing was gone. He said it was just gone. So it's a pulse jet engine is what it is, of some sort. It's not a scramjet, it's something else. And whatever it was, he said it left the chase planes there was no possible way it could even catch them. Matter of fact, you couldn't even. He said it was like 5 seconds. You couldn't even see it in. It was just gone. According to radar, according to radar, it was moving around Mach 15.
Jesus.
Yeah, so it was hauling ass, and I don't know if a riveted craft can go any faster than that. To be honest with you, I think that's kind of pushing it at Mach 15. But they have got the 3 RTBs clocked down at Pensacola Naval Air Station and the airport at Mach 12.5. They're fast as hell too, and I don't even know what those are. They're some type of spacecraft. I don't think they're just for flying in the atmosphere.
Wow. All right. Anyone want to take a guess as to how many miles per hour Mach 15 formulates to?
Oh God, I don't know. It's 750 miles per time. I'd have to do the math. it's got to be a lot.
509 miles per hour.
Yeah, it's smoking fast.
For our European contingency, that would be 18,522 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, that's like New York to Tokyo. I don't know if you could get to full speed New York to Tokyo going that fast.
You wouldn't be able to. You get like Mach 7 and have to slow down.
Yeah. Oh, well, there? What do you mean we're there? I thought it took like 4 hours. No, it don't take that anymore to fly over the Atlantic.
Yeah, it's a puddle jump now.
Say, hey, we're here now. Hop out. Get out my damn airplane. Well, I don't know. I remember the Concorde. I remember they put in a new runway in New Orleans so the Concorde could land because it had to have an extra long runway.
Yeah, that's the only problem. It could only land at really major airports, for one thing. And then another thing was, when did they stop it? They stopped using it.
Because it blew up twice or something.
Yeah, they weren't maintained, well enough. I guess.
I think one of them fell out the sky and one of them blew up. I forgot what happened, but it was
wings fell off and then it crashed. Some bizarre accidents, but. How long ago was it? I mean, it was recent, 10, 15, 20 years?
Yeah, somewhere up there. Yeah. They were, it was a good idea. Just, they're just,
good run.
The plane should have been better taken care of.
Does anyone know what SST stands for in the Concorde's name?
Hell no.
Stupid. Transport.
Oh, well, that makes sense. It was Sonic Transport.
Sonic Transport, right.
Yep.
Jimmy, what do you mean? Any news on Donald J. Trump? You know what? There might be some on him.
Who's that?
There might be some
news on Trump. Let me get that for you. Hang on one
second. We got to go to break. But science discovers remains of ancient planet deep inside the Earth. Wait a minute now. Whoa, wait. Before we go, we got to stop for a second. Scientists discover remains of ancient planet deep inside Earth. So are we Planet 9? Oh, shit. We ate Planet 9.
That's Velikovsky's theory that there's a second.
Well, this is science here. They're saying this is science that they found inside the planet.
On us, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so somebody take us to music.
Actually, I'm going to bow out, you guys. It's been a long night. Thanks for inviting me, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night, okay?
I got the music.
Yeah, be good, sweetie.
I'll see you later, Laura Lee.
Gotta get stop. Thanks for stopping by, sweetie. Man, I'm getting tongue-tied.
Laura Lee, I'm going to play a song for you, though, man.
Just slap the fucker. Just slap him.
Anyways.
Strange Joe's just wait, I'm going to put this up here in a second. Oh, if I quit losing myself, I'll put it up here in a minute. This is first two robots wrestling or boxing. What the hell did I do with it? Where is it? That's not it. FAA, no, there's all so much crap up in here. Universal features of China. Who's F-35? Nope. Where the bleep? No, where's this bleeping thing at?
Who's that?
Yeah.
He's trying to bleep in.
Somebody bleeped in. Hello, bleeped in.
It's Fred Smith.
Oh, hey, Fred, what you up to, baby? You must have heard us talking about all this war stuff and came on in. It's, what the hell did I do with this thing? This is just stupid is what this is, if I can ever find it to put it up here again. Okay, what did I do? It's literally just two robots fighting. It's got to get more sophisticated than this. Fred, what you doing, man? Somebody drag him in the chat. Nuclear.
Okay.
Nuclear. It's all right. I don't know what to do with it. Oh, there it is. Okay, let's.
Howdy, Fred. Nice to meet you.
Howdy.
What's up, Mr. Fred? What you doing, baby?
Man, working to be like y'all when I grow up.
Oh yes, no. Tonight we've been on War Talk all night. Watch, we done probably bored half our audience out of existence.
I know, right? I don't know how that happened. Talk about airplanes and
we had the Warthog up here a little while ago. We was going through the Warthog.
What on to everything?
And we were
out.
You name it, it's been on the screen. That we just had the F-47 up there, the new one that's supposed to be coming out that has its own drones attached to it and stuff like that. It's definitely interesting. Kind of goofy, but interesting. Okay, let me see. All right, let me find this. Where am I? I keep losing y'all because I'm somewhere. Boy, you're looking good, man. You're looking good. How was your show today? I told Michelle to check in on you, skinny butt.
It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I hadn't had a chance to pull everybody's stats today. Y'all know Fred. Y'all know Fred. Y'all both met Fred, right? I know y'all have. That's Doomsday Jay and Purgatory Mick over there, just in case you didn't know. Purgatory Mick, man. I mean,
these are our new monikers per Sean Kelly.
He's
Sean Dexter Kelly.
Yeah, Sean Dexter Kelly. I've been naming everybody here lately. It's okay. Where am I? Come back here, show. Okay, add to the stage. Okay, let's make this bigger.
Yep.
And let's kick play.
You gotta be kidding. Is this China or Japan?
Oh yeah, this is the boxing. Yeah, I've seen this.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
这起来的姿势实在是太。看看钻金小将回应。
Whoa, it looks like he's jumping a pink, man.
获得3分。对，而且看他那个。直接把钻金小将击倒。又起来了。
6, 7, 8. Box.
Really, they have a human to coach the whole.
Ouch, man! If that was human, he'd be hurting right now.
I want to see them both go berserk and attack.
Oh, look at this! He could have fallen.
They're both down.
接下来准备裸手。对。比赛结束。哇 ，KO 了。这就是刚才。
Oh man, this is too.
That's like the most dangerous thing.
Where is that? Korea, China? Where the hell is that? That's just insane.
It's the future. It's scary, man.
All I can say is I really hope that our military has better.
Pads on it?
Having better robots.
Fucking robot. Why are you putting pads on it?
Hey, man, you gotta pad it up. You might get hurt or something.
Oh, come on.
Now, where's this thing? Oh wait, what is this? Oh wait, this is a beast here. Oh my god!
Back on the planes.
This thing they just showed is beast. Where'd it go? I just lost it. Come back here, plane. There it is. This thing is just made to tear shit up. Is what this is. Look at a cannon just poking out the side of the damn thing. Oh look, we're not a killing plane. No, this not a cannon. Oh Lord.
It's like a 1 gauge shotgun.
It's a 110 millimeter cannon. It's huge.
The AC-130 is really good for ground support. It just flies over, just blowing shit up. I mean, it literally just if you've got one of these and 2 Warthogs alongside for protection, you could just rip through any damn thing.
You are not even enemy is done.
You might as well. You might as well say, hey, we may have made a boo boo coming around here.
Mm-hmm.
And
what's the rate of fire on those Gatling guns? I mean, it's got to be super, super high.
One of my friends was on one of these. He was detached to one of them, and he's like, Joe, it's just a flying gun.
Yeah.
The one on the side is a cannon. I don't think it's a Gatling gun.
No,
that's right. It's like a 110 millimeter cannon or some shit is what it is.
It's 110
rapid fire.
No, there's a Gatling gun on it right by the door.
Oh, I don't doubt there's a Gatling gun too. Just everything you can imagine is on this plane.
There's one on each side by wherever there's a door.
You name it, and it's probably on this thing. They even got they got flares for close counter, missiles coming up their ass or something.
Yeah. They got all kinds of deployments they can drop.
Yeah, but they're just and when you look at it, it's a propped plane. What can this thing actually do? Yeah. Where we got all these super heavy duty fighters and stuff these days, and we're gonna send out this thing with 40 years old. It might even be older than that.
Yeah, you
probably
need
as old
something
as the.
slow.
Yeah, look at it. Look at this gun sticking out. This looks like something that kid drew and just made guns sticking out all over the place. I love seeing them in deployment. It's too bad they didn't use them in Vietnam, at least more.
Yeah,
they could just circle around and lock on with that 110 millimeter cannon and just whack and just keep going.
Look at it. Look, there goes the shell. Look at that thing. As big as this guy's leg.
Yeah.
105 millimeter. I'm sorry. I thought it was 110, 105. So close enough.
That's heavy duty, man.
Yeah, that's. But they got rapid fire stuff all over the place. They got all kind of wonderful stuff. Dude, you missed the tank there.
Yeah, really.
I don't think you should have been showing us that. You missed the tank. All right, we're turning him off. He missed the tank. He's on this shit list. He's on this shit list. Oh,
I got some news. You asked about news on Trump, so let me show you this.
Don't be getting us in Z Kyle trouble, man.
No, you might.
Yeah, he's crazy. He'll come after us.
We might wind up pissing off Steve Martin.
He'll show up at your house. He's nuts.
The worst to come from this is Steve Martin will get pissed. That's the worst that'll happen.
Banner up there. Where did that banner come from?
I am officially running for president of the United States.
And he's already got being a hero. Don't let him see this.
People stand in line to see the Orange King. Trump. How'd we get so lucky? Donald Trump. He's gonna save our country.
Born with silver spoon, he can buy the moon. King Trump.
I'm really rich. I'll show you that.
All right, who was on drugs for this?
He wins, and China has to see him. He'll get back our money and build a coliseum.
Name's Trump.
Hillary's a donkey.
He loved his wrestling.
He's my favorite honky.
Built the Taj Mahal, now he'll build the wall. King Trump.
Oh man, y'all gonna drive me to alcohol and drugs on nights like these.
His hair
Look at that baseline though, huh?
Uncle Trumpy, we'll get into real news.
Now don't think I'm a nut. Don't want the same old. Just want to kick some butt.
Aren't all four of them related?
Keeping out the Muslims. Everybody loves him.
Born in New York City, wife is very pretty. He was born in New York City.
His first lady's got nice boobies.
Really, they're great. They're fabulous. They're huge.
Stretching will relax your muscles.
We've never seen anything like them.
No, y'all are all cut off or whatever the hell y'all been drinking. It's official now. Y'all are just getting cut off. No, Chris, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. I've been wanting to catch up on some of the polls. So I didn't get a chance to do polls when Trump was on the downswing. He was on the downswing a couple of weeks ago. And we didn't really get a chance to get out to Real Clear Politics or any of the good places. And look, so anyway, Rosman's puts out a thing the other day. So Trump has set a record. He's got the highest rating for a president headed in the right direction. So 54% of America, which is a record over the last 100 years, believe this, people. 54% of the country and climbing thinks we're on the right track.
Wow.
It's been over 100 years since we've been plus 50.
Or just Republicans?
Yep. Over 100 years since we've been plus 50. That's just sad.
But who are they polling? Are they polling Democrats and Republicans or just one or the other?
They're polling everybody. And it's not just that poll. The IS Harvard poll came back the same way. And then his rating. So Real Clear Politics has him at 49. Harvard IS poll has him at 50. Rosman's has him at 52. Fox has him at 48. So depending on who you want to go, and remember, they always underestimate Trump's polling numbers. So, I mean, they have for at least the last 12 years. So figure he's somewhere in the 52% range, which is another outrageous.
Just call it 60 and we'll be done with it.
Well, he's already broke his own personal record for best amount. I don't think he ever broke 50% in his first term.
Well, no, I don't think so either. But I mean, he also had COVID, and he didn't come into the first administration the way he came into this one. He came into this one like they say, those stupid phrases I hate people using, feet on the ground, and he started off right away. I mean, he's probably been one of the busiest presidents we've had since.
He's trying to set a record on that too.
Reagan, I would say. I don't even think Bill Clinton was as busy as this man is.
So he's up for another record, by the way, most transparent president. So right now he's sitting at 100 days what was it? He's at 80%. So 80% of the days he's been in office, he's talked to the press or let him in the press room or let him in the White House with him. 80% of the time. That's outrageous. Reagan, you got to go back to Reagan for that for sure. But they say he's going to take the record.
Golden-haired narcissist, and that's what the man is. But he also.
But that's what's funny about Trump. So if you look at Trump from the outside like we do, that's what he comes off as. But after listening to Bill Maher, Kid Rock, James King, a couple of Democrats that met him just recently, that's not who he is. Listen to his kids, his grandkids. That's not who he really is. So we get the actor. That's what we get. We get the actor.
You just mentioned, particularly some of the Democratic favorable ones, are or will be mentioned in the P. Diddy trial, because there's been quite a few scandals of names dropping.
Well, I mean, Barr all but gave Trump a blowjob. Come on, it's he couldn't ask for better press than that if he tried. Bill was. I was kind of taken aback. I was like, "Shit, what happened here? Did they give him like some kind of drugs while he was at the White House?" And
it kind of reminds you of the scene. You ever see Scrooge? There's the scene where the newspaper accuses the network that Bill Murray's the head of intentionally killing a woman with one of its commercial trailers for the TV show that they're going to produce. And he's like, he's like, you can't buy press like this. You just can't get that kind of good advertising, no matter how hard you try. And that's how he looked at it. And it's like,
but and Trump's got a knack for something, and that is whatever you throw at him, he has a ability to turn it back around at you.
Yeah,
whatever it is, he takes your own phrases and beats you in the head with them. I mean, he's good at what he does. He was. Reagan was also an actor, which made it easier for him to get up in front of the world and say, "Hey,
Trump wasn't, but he's had years and years of being on that show."
He was an actor. If you're on television and you're rated with IPS, you're an actor, my friend.
Like, who would call it acting? Okay, but he was on the
Reagan
TV
didn't have any original ideas.
He was taught how to face the camera, how to hit. In all TV studios, in all movie studios, they have marks on the floor. And each actor has a different mark, whether it's a star or a square or
right. Reagan was told what to say and what to do.
Nobody was telling Reagan. Nobody was telling Reagan what to say.
Reagan had
you're on crack, my friend.
James Garner said when Reagan was the head of the Actors Guild, he had no clue, no original ideas.
He was probably the best governor California ever had, and probably he's in the top 3 presidents we've ever had. Because you don't do that. Just people want to give him shit because he was an actor, but no, he was actually good at what he did. He understood.
He was a very good administrator.
He was an excellent speech giver. Oh my God,
he was a bullshitter.
He was an actor. What do you expect?
Trump isn't. I mean, come on, Trump's the king of the
Trump is nuts and he's for real. You don't mess with someone who's nuts and for real. I traveled to New York City almost every day.
Reagan was nuts and for real.
Don't be talking over each other. I'll give you a headache.
I ran into somebody
one at a time.
Totally crazy, man. And you gotta know how to deal with that crazy. You gotta know how to deal with it and make sure it doesn't follow you. That's exactly it, man.
Well, Trump loves us all. That's all I can tell you, people. It's he seems to be on this weird spree. His numbers seem to be just growing every day. I mean, he was, and the media was loving him when he was on the backside. Was it a week ago? I think it was about 2 weeks ago. Then all of a sudden, and it's so hard on the Democrats when they have to come out and say these kind of things. I was listening to CNN yesterday, and they didn't want to talk about, all these things that have been going on, how his approval rating just seems to be going up and not down, how people think we're on the right path now. And it's hard on poor little CNN reporters and ABC and CBS reporters. And you think they got it bad. Well, shit, MSNBC's got to be crying every day. I mean, really, it's funny to me too that Fox polls are lower than ABC or NBC's polls. Makes me wonder sometimes what's going on there.
What's going on with MSNBC anyway? Are they still like in like the throes of splitting off from NBC, or did that happen? What's going on with that?
There's waiting for somebody to buy them, I think.
Oh, okay.
They're all, you know what they're doing? They're all busy denying covering up Joe Biden's decline, mental and physical decline. Now they're writing books saying they can't believe there was a cover up. Meanwhile, they're the ones who did it. You know what I mean? They're the ones who participated in the cover up. They never cared about the truth, obviously. So whatever, man. It's crazy.
It's where we are. It's let's see.
Look at Puff Daddy. Let's take Puff Daddy as an example.
Oh, poor Puff Daddy.
I have not heard testimony that's going to lock him up for life. I've heard people he threw spaghetti at people. And as a matter of fact, being a private investigator and having participated in a lot of trials, man, if the prosecutor comes out with his weak tripe about he puts applesauce on hamburgers and whatever, I don't even know what the hell he's thinking. If you've got sex trafficking, underage this and whatever, that's the stuff that you need to put in the jury's mind. They don't have it.
Yeah, they also have several charges of racketeering against him too. So it seems like they grabbed a few things that if they can't get him on the sex stuff,
they're getting him on racketeering. Oh no, he's going to do 10 years on the racketeering.
You have a long and far to prove that. But assault and battery and a couple of these other things, yeah, he's not a great guy, but also he's not public enemy number one.
Yeah, well, they're not. They don't look like they're going to be able to get him on a sex trafficking, but they're going to get him on racketeering.
They have to lock all of us up, man.
Yeah, well, they're going to get him on racketeering. He didn't pay his taxes for 10 years. Same thing. Put Capone away is going to put him away.
You know what? Yeah, but they buy their way out.
Now, you know how bad it is. They've already asked Trump for a pardon. They've already actually asked Trump for pardon.
Look at Wesley Snipes, dude. They went after him, man. He actually declared himself an Israeli citizen, and there's a whole bunch of shit. But he got in trouble and whatever. He paid his way out of it. I know he did it.
I don't think Diddy has enough money to get out of this one.
No,
Trump don't like. Trump's a funny guy. I mean, remember he's a guy who threw Epstein off his property and said, can never come back here again."
Well,
that was the end of that.
Think about this. He even if he has the money to get himself cleared of this, many of his friends, like 11, 12, 13, 14 of them, like Lawrence Fishburne, among other major actors, are being investigated over this scandal.
Yeah.
So even if he gets out and pays his way through and gets out scot-free, those people are going to beat the living snot out of him.
There are a lot of famous people coming forward for P. Diddy.
They'll sue the
like Justin Bieber, who was a child.
Well, but there's other problems that the judge said that
he was hanging around. Say he saw nothing. Britney Spears, yeah, she's a little nuts. She said that he saved her life and whatever. There's a lot of people saying good stuff too. So I mean, it comes down to evidence. If you don't have the evidence, that it's very hard just to go by hearsay.
No, they got the racketeering evidence. That's a pretty much foregone.
That's probably the only thing they got him for, because I mean.
They got him for a few other things. As far as the thing they would want to get him on was sex trafficking, they're probably not going to be able to get him on, even though he brought prostitutes across state lines. They were paid and they were willing. So it's going to be hard to knock him out completely on that. But everything else, they got him on.
Stuff, man. It really is.
They wouldn't ask Trump. Look, they wouldn't ask Trump for a pardon.
You need a unanimous jury decision, man. And you got to take all people, and then if one of them has in their mind that the guy's not as guilty as they're saying, that they're trying to railroad.
Okay, on sex crimes, you don't have to have a unanimous decision. So you just got to have a majority. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You don't need a jury for the when it comes to the racketeering.
There's a jury.
The jury's not going to decide racketeering. The judge is.
Before the jury goes in, the judge is going to read them the rules and tell them what the law is.
Yes, but they're not going to. They're not. There's no jury going to do racketeering. They don't know enough about it, Mike.
People's faces. It's going to come down to the crime. Who's the victim?
Yes.
Where's the crime?
Let me see. I didn't pay my taxes for 15 years. He even admitted to that. So 15 years, no taxes. That's 15 years in jail. Even it doesn't matter who he knows. It's not going to help him any. Plus, it's looking like they're going to go after his girlfriends, including the one giving testimony, because they said if any of this is true and they stood by and watched it and didn't do anything about it, they're just as damn guilty. So J-Lo's in trouble. The girl's testifying now is in trouble.
What the J-Lo? You know what I mean?
So this is gonna. It's not. He's not going to be the only one that goes down over this. Now, poor Obama. Will Obama, Mr. Bear, will he get in trouble? I don't know.
He's got 11 times.
Yeah, he's got a lot of friends to it. Powerful friends.
A lot of fundraisers for Obama. Big dollar fundraisers.
And Jay-Z and Beyonce's both been mentioned a few times. So I don't. We'll see where it goes. Where it goes, it goes. But having sex with a bunch of people isn't illegal, so you can get him on that.
But
I think
having sex with a bunch of prostitutes transported across state lines is.
I think
It depends what states it is.
I think
Not really.
No, if it's California and Nevada, there's no broken law.
If you transport illegal prostitutes from Las Vegas into Utah, you're going to go to jail.
He wasn't in Utah, trust me.
But Puff Daddy, yeah, man. You know what? He probably won't get more than 5 years. I'm saying probably not more than 5 if he gets any time at all.
If he gets racketeering charges, he's doing 15.
They ain't getting racketeering.
He might. They got him on it, Mike. He's already admitted he didn't pay his taxes.
He's going to do.
You can't get out of that one.
Not paying taxes, not racketeering. Racketeering has
all
nothing
his friends
to
are going to sue the
No,
shit
no,
out
dude. He didn't pay his taxes. He's going to jail for 15 years. Anyway,
racketeering is controlling
controlling, not paying his money. He's going to go to jail for it. He's in trouble, dude. Some things he's just not going to get off of. You know, this is what the real problem for him is, Mike. Same thing. The Epstein had the problem. Same thing. Epstein's girlfriend had the problem. Same thing. Bill had the problem. The same thing. What's his face in Hollywood had the problem. The people are against him, so he's going to go to jail.
Comes down to
he's not going to get out of not going out to jail. It doesn't actually come all the way out to the jury, and the judge at any point can declare that there was a problem with the jury and could declare it null and void and just take it over himself. Remember that. No, you don't. No, you don't. Actually, so wait a minute. Wait. No, Mike. If it's a federal crime, they don't even need a jury.
Trial has to be. If they ask for the judge, that judge has to be. It's up to the defendant, and the burden of proof is on.
Not up to the defendant who gets to be the judge of the jury.
On the prosecution. So he just.
Well, dude, you wrong about that. It has nothing to do.
All the people testifying against him have money.
So let me ask you, Mike. Do you think Al Capone had a jury?
Follow the money.
Do you think Al Capone had a jury? Do you think what's her face had a jury that just went to jail? She didn't, because of the way the crime was. It was a federal crime, and you don't have to have a jury.
You better read the rules, buddy.
Buddy, I'm telling you don't. Mike, there are at least 200 crimes I can think of right now that a jury is not required.
Well, there's also crimes where you can opt not to have a jury.
Oh yeah, so Puff Daddy having a military trial, a military court. That's the only court where there's no jury.
No, Mike. A lot of time the judge decides, not the jury.
The judge decides. If you, the defendant, says, "I want the judge" or "I want a jury," you can request. Hey man,
that's in civil cases, my friend.
Stealing something for $3, you can request a jury trial for something like that, and then have a whole.
In civil cases, yeah, not in criminal cases, though.
Most of the time, they'll give people an ACD, all charges dismissed, because they don't want to have a jury trial because they're expensive. You got to know how to play the game. But this dude, I'm just not hearing the testimony where he's public enemy number one. That's all. I'm not hearing it yet.
Well, then you're not. You haven't been listening. Is all I can tell you.
They said sex trafficking. They said underage. That was their lead in, and I haven't heard that yet.
I have never heard that one time. I've never heard anything about underage. All I heard was illegal.
Oh yeah, they've been talking.
I've never heard anybody, not any news media, not anybody say anything about underage.
The underage rapper that he had sex with, I think, 13 and whatever, and he was saying all this crazy provocative stuff to him. I don't know, man. I mean, the guy's got whatever, but it comes down to evidence.
Justin Kutcher's testimony alone is enough to put Diddy in jail by itself. They don't even need anybody else's. That and because JC's going to turn on him because she don't have a choice. With her testimony, his testimony, he ain't getting out. They won't even give him a bond, Michael. They're not even a bond.
Takes a lot more to be words.
You want to put some money on this case?
That was the case.
You want to put some money on this case? I guarantee he gets jail time.
Yeah, his goose is cooked.
He'll probably get some jail time, but I'll guarantee he won't get more than 5.
No, he'll get 15 or 20. He's out of the deal.
The
problem is for him is the powers to be want him gone.
He'll be around people just like him, man.
Yeah, that's fine. He'll have a good time. My wife was saying that earlier. He'll be well taken care of in prison, but he'll be there for 20 years.
Oh, I don't think
he'll be an old bastard when he gets out.
If they want him gone, he'll be dead before those 20 years.
And that's if none of the prostitutes come out and say he drugged me across and didn't pay me. If he did that, that's another 10, 20.
They might move for a mistrial because 40. A lot of the evidence has been bullcrap. You know what I mean? So, I mean, letting people go on for hours talking about his eating habits, that's ridiculous. That any prosecutor that does that means they got nothing. They got nothing. If they're willing to go on with that, they've got nothing. I've seen enough of these trials.
Well, first off, this is going to be 5 cases, if I remember correctly, or 6. So this ain't even all. This is just the first trial that's being done, because a lot of them can't be tangled together because they have nothing to do with each other. So he's not. It's not even if this is over, he's still not out of. He still can't get out of jail until everything's been cleared.
Mm-hmm.
It may be 5 years before he even gets the final case.
He didn't run. He could have ran. He could have gotten to a.
Oh no, he did run. He did run, and then he came back.
He turned himself.
Oh, let's not make no doubt about that. He ran at first.
He turned himself in.
They couldn't find him. No one knew where he was, and finally, his lawyers told him, "You better turn yourself in," which was bad advice on his part because he's a free man right now.
I would have fought that from afar. I'd be in the center of the earth.
I'd be in
anyway, I mean,
I'd buy some African town.
I'd
buy a whole country, man. He's got money. He can buy a whole country, make himself.
The man lived his lifestyle, what the hell?
Come get me.
Maybe they'll put him with Weinstein.
Fuck Daddy Land. Come get me. You know what I mean?
Maybe put him with Weinstein. They can have some parties together. Or maybe they'll put him with Epstein's old lady, and they can have some parties together. It's
only if he goes to prison in California and he tells the prison warden that he's feeling feminine and they move him to the female locker.
So remember this too. He's going to a federal court. He's going to a federal prison no matter what. Which you can't get out. You have to do 2/3 of your sentence to get out on bail, on bond. On parole.
It's like summer camp for these dudes. They meet other powerful people there. He'll come out better with more power.
If he gets out.
I'm not saying the guy's a good guy.
If I know Diddy will try to do a white party in prison and get another 20 years.
If you're going to take someone to court, they better be guilty. You know what I mean?
No.
Unless there's
you don't keep somebody in jail if you don't think they're guilty.
Unless there's another reason they took him through this. I mean, he gave Democrats a lot of money. He goes a lot of stuff too. So
maybe so. And we'll see what Obama has to say about him. They're going to end up calling Obama sooner or later. So
dumb fuck with money. The guy hired the right people. They made money for him. You know what I mean? Jay-Z, on the other hand, I think is more of a businessman. He's a smart dude, Jay-Z. He's not exactly the Puff Daddy ilk. You know what I mean? So
Jay-Z's $1 billion now or something?
He's already skated away from this mess, They all know each other. They're all friends. Everybody's a music business, man. Also Hollywood. They know each other.
They're either friends or they're enemies, one or the other.
Guys have huge parties with every famous person that's going to attract all kinds of people, Who wouldn't want to go?
Well, a lot of people didn't go there. That's the thing. A lot of people knew his parties were infamous, so they didn't go.
It depends what kind of
matter of fact, there's a website right now. It's based out of California. It shows all the famous people who he invited that said no. There's quite a few of them, actually. I was quite surprised. I would have thought some of those people that said no would have went.
I saw Joe Montaldo on that list, man.
Not me, baby. Not me.
Oil. You puff that.
I got enough problems of my own. But I did like what you said the other day about he should go to work for Johnson & Johnson as their baby oil.
Yeah, man. He's the top.
I did like that.
Johnson.
Okay. All right. So
this show, does it also show the celebrities who said yes?
No, actually, it doesn't. So the only ones we know for sure were Beyonce, Jay-Z, Obama, J-Lo, Ashton Kutcher. What's his name? That little young singer guy.
Bieber.
Yeah, him. And so what's funny about that is one of them said he treated him like really good, and the other one said he was a no good bastard. But who knows for sure. Anyway,
also Lawrence Fishburne was implicated recently.
But there's going to be other people who come out of that as well. So anyway, real quick,
anybody here would not have gone to one of his parties. It got Bud Puff Daddy.
I don't like the man. Never did.
I wasn't a fan of his music, so I wouldn't have went.
I'm going there to watch some stuff. Freak party, man. Yeah,
and actually, I didn't even know about most of this. It shows you how much I pay attention. None of it really.
New York City,
So we got to go through some of these polls right quick. So I keep getting bugged about these damn polls. So we're going to do these polls. Well, Jay and I did so many months of these doing the election. It's like 18 months. So Fred's in first place. It's got Fred up here in first place for some reason. I don't know what the hell that's about, but he's up here in first place. So anyway. So we'll do it liberal, conservative. So Rosman's has Trump up by 7 points at 53, at an approval rating of 53. Economy.gov, which is Yahoo, which is oh no, it's not Yahoo, that's Economy. Both of them have him around 46, 47 approval. RMG Research has him at 50% approval. Morning Consultant, which is extremely liberal, has him at 48. Qantas Insight has him at a tie at 48. Daily Chaos has him at 48. Insider Advantage has him at 55. Reuters has him at 52. Harvard Harris has him at 48. Daily Mail has him at 50. And Marquee has him at 46. So
they're all within 10 of each other.
Pick a poll, people. So what you're seeing here, ladies and gentlemen, what I just read here is simply a red and blue split. Everywhere he's ahead is red. Everywhere he's behind is blue. I don't want to break y'all's hearts.
And if you average it all up, he's at probably an effective rating probably 60%.
Now, like what he's doing, man. People like what he's doing. Even people don't like. I don't even like him, but I like what he's doing. You know what I mean?
So his overall approval rating is at 54%. I mean, overall for everything, that's his total approval rating with all these polls combined.
What would you give him personally? Like you personally, out of everything.
And here's real clear politics poll average. He's at 51%.
What would you give Trump? All of you personally, like seeing what
I'd give him a B plus, man. Yeah, B plus sounds good.
I have to say he's doing a lot better than he started off as, and he came out with feet to the ground running. So I'd say he's around 84, 85.
Fred, what you think, baby? You being all quiet over there.
I was just about to say that. I think you got to look at his mugshot to really get an accurate assessment. He's a different man the second time around. So
absolutely,
yes.
He changed. He's not as much with the rhetoric that don't be.
It's the mean tweets and all that, but we've talked about this on other episodes, Fred. That in my opinion, it's the lady. I can never remember her name. She's the head of the household staff at the White House, and she was his campaign manager throughout the whole thing. She really flipped him. I mean, he took him off the flipper and turned him 180 degrees around.
Yeah, I just talked about it actually today on my show. The reality of it is, he went to the Middle East for about 6 or 7 days and brought back a few $1 trillion, dropped the inflation rate down to 2.9%. So you got to kind of watch what people are doing and just watch those moves and study them. I would love to be able to do that in my lifetime. I close a few $1 billion deals, but not some $1 trillion deals.
He's sitting pretty. I mean, so between the Middle East, the beginning deals, and Doge, he's somewhere around $11 trillion now. So I remember the Alabama speech. He was at $8 trillion in the Alabama speech. That's what the last guy, the big donor, was talking about. And then of course he picked up depending on which way it goes, 2 to 3 trillion in the Middle East. That puts him at 11, and they're figuring Doge anywhere from 500 billion to 4 trillion, depending on what figures are actually what. Right. So he's anywhere from 11.5 trillion to 50. That's half the fucking deficit.
Yeah, he's crushing it.
We're here till a little bit after 1, Kurt.
I mean, this is the serious. I mean, he's murderizing the deficit, which is good. All that does is help us against our enemies and our allies.
He's not just doing that. He's murderizing the trade deficit. I mean,
while we're on this now, this tariff thing. So this court steps in. Now, where does fucking court come from? Excuse my language, but no, Jack.
California.
Yeah, I think
so I've never heard of this court before. I've never heard of it tell Obama he couldn't do tariffs, or Biden he couldn't do tariffs, or I never heard him tell Trump he couldn't do tariffs the first time around. So I'm kind of like out of the blue, because Wall Street's crying like little bitches. Is he going to put this? We're going to tell the president he can't put tariffs on people? I don't think a single court should. Go ahead, Fred. What?
Yeah, I'm saying Wall Street to me isn't even big enough. You got to look at the foreign exchange markets. That's to me where all the action really is.
He's now proved that the tariffs work.
The Dow prices. The Dow recovered from the time.
Yeah, well, that recovered, but prices are coming down in the United States. Gas is down, food's down. I mean, things are coming down.
I'm not seeing the food prices come down. I'm seeing.
You know what? I've talked about this the other day, so probably Fred's having the same problem. If you live in a blue state, you're not going to see them come down. They'll artificially inflate them if they have to. They do not want you. They do not want you to reap the benefits of this. See, down here, eggs are down now at $2.25 a dozen. Gas is at $2.30 a gallon. Ground meat's still a little high. It's sitting around $6, but steaks are actually cheaper. So you can get a damn ribeye for $10, $11, but ground meat's going to cost you $6 for a pound. So I'm not sure what that's about.
I'm coming over your house, man. It's high out here.
Oh, wait, now listen. So you can get a rack of ribeyes for $115. You'll get 14 2-inch steaks, or you can get a half a fillet for $35 and get 8 2-inch steaks. Oh man, and it's all grain, fresh beef, right locally done. Oh my God, it's
I'll say price me a tomahawk and ship it to California, man.
It's plus, you know, I live on the Gulf Coast and seafood is cheap. Shrimp was up as high as $9. You know how much a pound of shrimp cost me right now? I'd say the 20 count shrimp cost me right now $3.
Hasn't anybody noticed?
40 count cost me $2. And if I want the jumbos, the big monsters, they're what $6 a pound.
Shoot, do they have a license plate with them? They're pretty big.
They're big. They're prongs. They're big. You can get them as big as 12 inches.
The other problem with living as far down south in Georgia and Louisiana, I've been in Georgia 13 years. I'm in Pennsylvania now. The other problem is not the seafood and how much yummy it is and expensive or inexpensive. It's the mosquitoes. They are so large. You'll hear them buzzing around, and they will decide whether to eat you there or fly you home for a midnight snack later that night.
We don't have mosquitoes, man. We kill them damn things. It's the only place you're going to worry about mosquitoes anymore is if you live on the edge of a swamp. But even now, even out in the swamp, they spray. And their favorite thing is they do this every year. They release like 2 billion of those big mosquitoes, the ones that eat the little mosquitoes, and all of a sudden there is no mosquitoes. It's crazy how that works.
It sounds like
you'll see this
play with the alligators to play.
Yeah, they just have a good meal and then everybody's happy and no mosquitoes. What you got to worry about where I live is mosquitoes. You got to worry about gnats because I live on the water. And oh, them little shits will come out at dusk of dawn and they will eat you alive if you let them.
Well, not only that, they get in your eye too. We have gnats all over Maryland too. They're a pain in the eye.
Carly, the polls depend. It's all in which poll you want to believe in, sweetie. Trump's up in a lot of them. He's down in a lot of them.
And they're all within 10 of each other. So some are 48, some are 57 at the highest.
Everything's within a 5-point flip, which is Trump's underestimation is 5 points. So it's in his 5-point flip.
It's 60.
So for him, I really think unless some major disaster happens, he'll probably be a good 50% across the board here, and maybe even 57, 58, 59 amongst the Republicans. He's just moving up. And do you realize, people, that almost 20% of the Democratic Party has left their party?
Really?
12% of them went to the Republicans. And then they've lost so many people in Hispanics and young blacks that it's just not even funny. What surprised me is I was doing a BLM down in New Orleans just recently, and Brian asked me to come down, and we were down, and so they would just ask in random, who would you vote for? They wasn't no young black man in New Orleans voted for Kamala. I was like, no, I mean, come on, man. I was stunned. And it's a different world. People look at the world differently, and Republicans have now decided they're going to be the middle class. And everybody wants to be comfortable, so we all want to be happy and enjoy our lives and have fun together. So hopefully this guy can work it out. What are you talking about, Carly? No, he's no, like I said, the polls are just a flip, just whatever you want to go. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's what you mean? Oh no, he did good with all men. He did good, white men, black men, Hispanic men. If you were a man, you voted for Trump like 55%. He did, but he did good with women too. So remember, the Democrats said they were going to take all the women vote, but they didn't. So 52 or 54% ended up voting for Trump.
Wow.
Yeah,
I was lower, like 35 or 40.
Oh hell no. Maybe in the Democrat Party. See, that was a thing. Everybody made a mistake, and I said this from day one, and we talked about this a million times before the election. Trying to say, when they tried to do this thing about women's bodies, women's rights, that was never going to work, because in all the blue states, nothing changed.
Yeah,
everything stayed the same. So how are you going to be in New York saying, "Oh, well, they're trying to take"? No, nobody took your rights away. Your rights stayed the same. You're in a blue state. It's on the states now. States said you can do it. So it became a non sequitur. And in the red states, half the states are religious, so they didn't want it either. I mean, they didn't bother them either. So there just wasn't this big upswell of women for this. It wasn't a cause for them. You know, they just picked the wrong cause is what they did.
I would think it was more of a media hype up than anything else.
Well, it was a media hype up. And you did see that a lot on the medias. I mean, all of them say, "Oh yeah, they're gonna get this big swing." Well, it was like when the comedian said that about the Puerto Ricans. I'm like, the Puerto Ricans ain't gonna give a shit about this.
But she's also quoted saying, they're after your rights to control your body, and it's like this. They're saying other things like Trump's going to come and take your babies from you. Like, what president is going to sit on that seat in the Oval Office if he comes to some small town and absconds with some young teenager's baby?
I don't know. There was a lot of there's a lot of things you heard against Trump that I've never heard in any other.
About that
I mean, there's a lot of stuff I've heard against Trump that I've never heard in any presidential election before, ever. So, some of the stuff that was said,
which is a term that came from like the first election with Washington and that crew. There's been more mudslinging in these last 12 years in politics than I think in the whole time span of our.
Well, there's been a lot. I mean, there's always mudslinging, but there's been a lot. What are you talking about? Obama 2028? Yes, I saw the poster.
Trump appointed Democrats to his cabinet. I mean,
not many.
And one of them was a former Democrat.
Yeah,
two.
Yeah.
Right, two.
Yeah. Kennedy and Tulsa.
Yeah.
I seen the thing Obama 2028. Yeah, so they want Obama to run against Trump, but remember, Obama's the reason Trump got in 2006. So I don't know how that's going to work for it. I mean, you got to no. I actually liked Obama. Can't get off that. So I voted for him first. I didn't vote for him second time because I figured the first time he didn't learn his lesson with his ignorant party, because that's who got him in trouble. He was fine. He had a good agenda in the beginning. He's I'm gonna do all of this, and then he let people like Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi and then Chuck Schumer and them took over, and he was, and because of that, because of Nancy got up there and said, "Oh, pass the bill and read the 5,000-page bill later." Well, that just pissed off most Americans. So boom, they took the House away from him. Next election, they took the Senate away from him. So he was lame duck his last 4 years of presidency. Even though he won, he was still lame duck because he didn't have the House of the Senate. But he had a good. The man had some good ideas. Now I don't know about that man Michelle he's married to, but other than that, I didn't really have anything against him personally. I never, as far as if he was born here or not born here, it was an argument not worth arguing about because nobody was ever going to concede on either side. And I remember when his brother came on TV. No, he was born in Kenya. Well, in the hospital had a birth certificate. We still weren't going to worry about it. It still was going to go that way.
The doctor in Kenya said, "I don't see a lot of white women here giving birth to black babies." He's like, "Of course I remember her. Of course I remember."
But it didn't matter because his mom was an American. It didn't matter. He still was going to be an American. Because one of his parents was American. Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered because he's still an American.
There's also strong evidence that they stole a Civil War soldier's dead man's Social Security number for him to use.
Well, I heard a lot about the Social Security, but the biggest problem I have with the Social Security is they were living in Hawaii. And he had a Social Security number from Connecticut.
Yes,
but that's
from a man who died in the Civil War.
Well, I don't know about all of that, but I know it was from Connecticut. But I mean, still, Alfred Weber said he was one of the guys on Mars with all the rest of them.
He introduced himself to people as a foreign student. He didn't consider he was from the United States.
Yes.
So
he was,
whatever. You can't go back in time. It doesn't really matter.
And it doesn't matter anyway because you can't run for a third term. So
born in the U.S.
I don't see 2/3 of Congress.
And then his president is either shot or abdicates. Then he takes over as president.
Now what Trump could do is he could go to Obama and say, "Look, I know you're in trouble with this Diddy stuff, man. I'm going to go ahead and give you a pardon if you get the Democrats. Say you're going to run in 2028. That way they'll go ahead and 2/3 will vote for us to go for a third term."
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be 82. I don't think he wants a third term.
No.
And I don't want to risk that he ends up like Joe Biden I don't want to risk it.
Yeah.
But this is the question. Who's going to be the next president?
Pence.
The auto pen.
Pence?
Gavin Newsom, man. Gavin Newsom is already distancing himself with the hardcore libs. He's already starting to enforce laws in California. So I mean, he's already
got a prayer in hell.
He's got the look. He's got the voice. I think that he can win people over, man.
Right now, in California's next election for governor, it's a 51% chance that a Republican will win.
You know who could do it too is Andrew Cuomo.
You might have a Republican governor there, Fred.
He's got
Fred won't know what to do with himself. He'll be like, "What the hell is this?"
But Cuomo's got that charisma that these presidents have. Bill Clinton had it. I mean, they all have.
Cuomo is screwed. He should have never even came out and tried to run for mayor. They are all over him now. But no, you need to go to prison.
And he's ahead, so whatever, man.
No, dude, they filed charges against him. For the nursing homes. He's going to jail.
They filed charges against Trump too. He's a felon.
He's going to jail. He ain't like Trump. He ain't got the money Trump got, my friend.
It seems like if you got to win office, you got to be some kind of felon.
Well, unfortunately for him, he got people killed. That's a whole different thing there.
Yeah,
he's a lot of people want him gone. See, that was part of the deal that Hochul made with him, that he would stay out of politics if no charges were brought on him. Well, guess what? He puts his hat back in. All bets are off. And trying to run a political campaign in the middle of a case like that, especially when it's going to come in around the same time, it's not going to help him any.
You know what happened with the COVID thing?
And why risk it?
It was a New York State health mandate that these people had to go into nursing homes, even if they had COVID. And then at that time, they already knew you can't release them in nursing homes. You can't put them with general population or people because they're going to make everybody sick. They ignored it because of the mandate. He should have stopped that mandate. He should have stopped all that crap at that point. He was being so good. You know what? Cuomo was being good about the meetings and the science and looking into it. But man, he messed up on a whole bunch of other areas that he just.
Well, they want to put. And Adams reminded him of this the other day. He said, "Man, you're going to keep it up. They're going to put you in jail." And they're right. I mean, they don't want him to be governor. They don't want him to be mayor of the city. And they don't care what polls are saying what, they want him out of it. And if they can go after him like that, especially if the president steps in and says, "Hey, let's prosecute this guy," come on, they're going to put what's-her-face in jail. Poor Lita, I kind of feel for her. So she goes after the president on mortgage crimes and gets in trouble for the same crimes. You know they're going to come down on her twice as hard because she's a prosecutor.
Yeah.
But you know.
Cuomo defended Trump.
What is she looking at? 5 years suspended sentence?
Cuomo defended Trump, saying that it's not normal. It shouldn't happen. It wouldn't have happened to another person, that they're doing it for political vendetta. He's told the truth, man. He told the truth of what he thought.
Oh, yeah. Now a bunch of Democrats have come out and said that now that they've lost, they're all like, "Oh, yeah, what's politically related,
This was before when it was going on. You know, so we'll see what happens, man. I think probably Newsom is going to be the safer bet.
But, you know, I don't understand the Democrats.
Can the Democrats really recover that well? Because they're
not in 2026.
Right, they've got no money, no leadership, nothing going on.
Not in 2026.
No, they're not there. Years to recover.
It's so if they don't recover by 2028, they're done. They're over with.
You see J.D. Vance being president? I don't see that. I think he's kind of a hothead, and
Vance Trump. That's the ticket.
Maybe 4 years from now he'll be different, but who knows?
Well, but you got better people. You got Marco Rubio, who would make a good president. You have Santos down in Florida, who would be
Rubio
a good
the
president.
robot? No way.
Doesn't matter. Rubio's doing 4 jobs right now. You can give him all the shit you want. He's doing a good job with what he's got to deal with, and he's keeping the president happy while he's doing it, which that in itself should give him brownie points. Yeah. But the Florida governor has a good chance of winning. Rubio has a good chance of winning. Vance has a good right now. I think Vance is actually in second place. Rubio's in 4th or something. There's 6 or 7 people already said they're interested in running.
But I think the interest in Rubio might die down because he was just recently in quite a few, major TV interviews and such. Like, I mean, all kinds of things were going on with him.
Yeah, but if he's going to run for president a year before he's going to run, he'll hype all that back up.
Yeah, he'll come back. Yeah,
it's
I think he's gonna die
but
down
that's if major stuff don't happen in between. So you never know. Now, if Germany goes ahead and starts World War III because they're dumbasses. I cannot believe they're going to give the Ukraine missiles with no range on them. And now Europe's saying they're going to do the same thing. I mean, they're asking for World War III. Well, half of World War III, because I don't know if the United States is going to get involved.
We shouldn't.
I'm telling you, if you drop 5 or 6 missiles on the Kremlin, he's going to nuke Kyiv. He's going to say, "Fuck y'all," and he's going to nuke Kyiv. He's not going to do a big nuke, but he's going to do a nuke. He's going to do a tactical nuke, maybe just 1 kiloton, but he's going to nuke them.
I would send them right to Putin's house. I would send like 12 of those things right there, man.
Well, they're going to send them all over the place. So the idea is to give them like 600 of these missiles. Do you know how much damage they can do with 1,000-pound bombs that can go anywhere?
Oh, yeah. Lots.
I mean, and if you start killing citizens, maybe it'll bring Putin to the table. Maybe it won't. Maybe Putin, he's kind of crazy these days. Even Trump said he's not the guy he knew. And I've heard other world leaders say that. So he might, he had that chemo, he had that surgery. He might be. He just might be.
He was down there isolated during COVID with all those old Russian relics and all that stuff. I mean, he was around all that. I don't know, man. Something happened to him. Whatever happened to him happened. And then he came out a madman. He's a madman. That's the way I see it.
He's a madman. But
dangerous before. Dangerous.
I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna. But I wouldn't be stupid enough.
Going to launch. If he says launch, will they do it? Will they listen to him? Will at that point they say?
Well, I don't think in some things they can. I mean, probably in a tactical nuke, he can probably bypass everybody. See, on ballistic missiles, technically the president could bypass them, not Air Force missiles because they have. But
he's only one person. Russia has millions of people. They don't want any part of this anymore. If he goes that extra step, do you think those people are going to take it, or do you think we're going to get rid of this dude? He's got to go.
Now. I think they're going to take it. They've been taking it this long. I don't know how they cannot take it. Everybody in power works for him. You have to get him out of the place. You have to somehow or another figure out how to get somebody in there that's like Gorbachev or somebody that's at least in the middle somewhere, that's willing to talk, willing to work. But right now, the people around him are just like him. So killing him is not going to make all that much of a difference. You're just going to get somebody else in there. Now, maybe they won't have the kahunas he does.
You got to cut them off and isolate them all.
Yeah, but I just was reading some comments on the Ukraine war, and they're saying that both Putin and Zelensky are kind of they're stalling on both ends. Whether Putin is in or out after the next election, I still think whatever it is that Putin did to Ukraine, Zelensky's going to get some kind of revenge, and he's not going to stop until he gets what he wants. He's seeming like the Putin now rather than Putin is.
We'll see what happens. I know the U.S. is only going to put up with so much foolishness before they decide just to throw their hands up and say the hell with it. It's we want the minerals deal in the Ukraine, but we don't really want to get into a big war. Our country's in good shape right now. It's looking like it's turning around nicely. We don't need World War III, and we don't have to be involved in it if we don't want to be. Now, if they start attacking Europe, then we have their protectorates. We don't have a choice. Or if they're NATO, we don't have a choice. But I mean,
but if Trump gets us out of NATO, then we're no longer obligated.
Getting us out of NATO is not as easy as you think it's going to be.
If he launches against Kiev, that's awfully close to Poland and all that.
I don't think he can just take us out of NATO. I think Congress has to take us out of NATO.
He's going to blow up a nuke right in Poland's face.
Doesn't he have control of Congress, though?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's a simple vote. I think it's a majority vote.
Yeah,
some votes are simple votes, like like in the Senate, 50 votes will do it. But sometimes you have to have 60, and for some things you have to have 2/3, depending on like bringing in a new state, things like that. You have to have a 2/3 vote, or impeachment. There's lots of things that you have to have 2/3 or 60 or 50. It just depends what it is, and I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but I don't see where I don't really see where we have a dog in this hunt. This is a European problem. We can be allies to the Europeans and supply them with weapons, supply them with jets, supply them with missiles, supply them with whatever they need. But it's not our fight. It's not really NATO's fight either. This is really the EU's fight.
Countries that are involved.
Not all of them. Not all EU countries are NATO countries.
Germany, Poland. Come on, man. They're all
screwed. No, let me tell you what. If they give them missiles that can hit deep inside of Russia, I think Trump's going to tell them fuck off.
They've already got those.
Trump's already they ain't got them yet, or they would already used them. They're trying to get them. Germany said they were going to give them to them, but then Lisinski got greedy and called India and said they wanted some of them cruise missiles they had that flew deep inside of Pakistan and blew the shit out of stuff. They wanted some of those that fly at Mach 3 because Russia can't shoot them down. And a missile that size would do some serious damage. I mean, if he launched 3 or 4 at Moscow, it would kill a lot of people. 50, 80, 100,000 people. He's not going to let that slide. If he don't drop a nuke the next morning, half of his military and half his airplanes will be bombing the living shit out of him. One way or another, they're going to go down. That would be the biggest mistake they ever made.
They would have to target their military as all. You know what I mean? Like not civilian, but missiles.
Well, no, but that's what he was doing, and that's what Putin's doing too. Putin's targeting the civilians, and Zelensky's been targeting them.
Yeah, I mean, he's just shooting people regardless. Kind of, no rhyme, no reason, just going after anybody and anybody.
Well, I feel for people like you and Jay and Fred, because I live out in in the bayou. Nobody's going to blow nothing up around here. Well, Mike, you kind of out in the country too. They may not blow you up, but these two fuckers here, they're dead.
Oh no, I'm out in the country. I'm in just an agriculture.
Yeah, but you're close enough to the bunch in the East Coast. You're dead, man. Radiation.
I'm an hour from DC, and I'm an.
Oh yeah, you're dead. You're dead in the blast, man. Get out of here. You're gone. You're adios, amigos. Poor Fred just going to die because they're going to bomb all around.
All good, man. It's been a great life.
It's been fun. That's what I can say. It's no, Kimberly, I'm serious.
Yeah, I can actually go.
Big nukes don't work like that, Kimberly. They don't discriminate against any kind of buildings or signs or streets.
I'm in the hills over here, and I got friends
just blow the shit up.
Cargill Salt. They said, "Come on, we'll go down the mines." That's a half a mile down there. There's a whole city down there. Man.
Wait, see, we got lots of salt mines down the south. We can all go live down there if we need to. But really and truly, there's nothing strategic down here except for most of the military bases that are build anything or testing facilities or Navy facilities or space facilities.
Getting plenty of water to have control over. So, I mean, our enemies could come in through the bottom states that way if we don't control it.
They'd never come through the southern states. The coon asses would kill them.
I live in a nuke site because I'm 2 miles from Lockheed Martin. They're biggest.
You probably get nuked then. Yeah, you're probably getting nuked.
The people around here talk about that all the time. That's a nuke site.
What do you mean, Stephanie? How do you survive a nuke?
The technology in 1970 in Maryland will get nuked because there's all kinds of technologies. They got McDonnell Douglas.
So in a real war, what would go on is we would hit each other's military targets first. Try to eliminate the cruise missiles and stuff like that, and the ballistic missiles. Try to get them out of the way before they could do any real damage. And then our hunter killer subs would start hunting their subs down, trying to kill them. And then we'd have Air Force flying missions trying to make sure there was no hypersonic loaded missiles with warheads trying to kill stuff. That's in a real war. But these days, I don't think it would be a real war. It would probably be like they would nuke Kyiv, UK would nuke some shithole city in Russia. Russia would probably nuke somebody in Europe, and we'd go, okay, next person drops a nuke, we're going to fucking nuke everybody. So we're going to end this now, or guess what? Adios amigos, everybody. Yeah. And we have plenty enough nukes to end the world. So
a couple times over, I think, actually.
Well, we got, not like we used to. At one point we had 12,000 nukes, and Russia had 15,000. I mean, you could have wiped the world out several times. So now we have 2,500 deployed. Actually, I don't even think we have that deployed anymore. I think we're down to about 1,500 deployed. And all together, we got about 5,000 warheads with about 2,500 on missiles with about 1,400 deployed. Of course, the Navy's missiles are plenty enough to kill everybody, so we don't really need anything more than that. I'm pretty sure the Ohio class is enough to wipe out most of Russia and China, if not all of it. I mean, we're Triton missile, 16 warheads per missile. Yeah, so it's 16 of my first submarine. Yeah, it's time just to leave us alone. Actually, Bruce, China only has 28 missiles that we know of deployed. They have 800 nukes, but they only have 28 of them deployed.
Strike them hard, strike them fast. Don't give them time, a chance to think. You just go for their throat and be done, and then that's it. They surrender.
If they would have done what MacArthur asked at the end of World War II, we'd be a one world now. There would be nobody else but us. We'd have took Russia and China, and we'd have probably kept all the territory we had, which was about 2/3 of the world at the time. All the captured territory, which would have included France and India and all of that. Britain and them would have just joined. India would have joined. I mean, really and truly, we'd be a united world now. Yes, we'd have had to nuke Russia. We'd have had to nuke Russia to do it, but
China throughout World War II.
China was easy to be. I mean, freaking Japan beat China by just offering rice for guns.
Well, yeah, also had superior guns, even if they hadn't traded them out for rice.
Yeah, well, today China's much more advanced. You know, they've gotten a lot of our technologies over the years because of greedy businesses in the United States selling them stuff and stuff they've spied on, things like that. I mean, but they're not as advanced as we are, but they're catching up fast. There's certain things though, like we're actually lagging behind on hypersonic technology. China's kicking our ass on that. So is Russia, for that matter. We do have hypersonic missiles that go Mach 5 to Mach 10, but we don't have any really deployed yet or ready to go. We don't have any nuclear warheads on any of them. But now, how fast do you think a ballistic missile is?
At least I'd say Mach 7 minimum.
Yeah, most of the ones we use that are intercontinental are around 11,000 miles an hour. So we were talking about that earlier. That's around Mach 15. And yeah, so you just Now, if they wait 3 years and we've got our beautiful golden dome, which I don't know why everything's got to be gold with Trump, but I'm good.
Look at his skin. I mean, he gets spray, copper tone gold spray every morning.
He poops in a gold toilet.
We haven't seen anything.
Hey, well, ain't nothing wrong with Putin in an 18-karat gold toilet. Now I could live with that.
I've never
done
it.
Bitch up and go sell it to somebody. Now I had some really fancy rich customers over the years. They were, I remember my son. I had a really wealthy customer, a really good guy too, and my son had never seen a bidet before. I'm like, "What's the matter?" He said, "Dad, they got 2 toilets in here." I started laughing. That's like, I said, "No, that one's for washing your butt." He's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Yeah, it shoots a jet of water up there." I said, "You see this little temperature thing inside? You can even set the temperature of the water you want and things like that." It even had aromatherapy and glowing lights and stuff. Just nice to be rich. And he said, "No, I don't understand." I said,
I wasn't rich, but we wanted it, so we bought it. It was expensive.
It took my son like a full week to get this concept in his head. Every time we were in a guy's house, he was like,
"It's deceptive." At first, that water comes out warm. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, it turns ice cold. So when
that just means you've been there too long.
No. If you use the feminine function, that wand.
Man, I don't even know about any of that stuff.
You know what I mean? And then, like when that thing goes ice cold, that ain't no fun, dude. That ain't no fun.
Man. Yeah, don't go cheap on the heat. Is all I can say.
That's the Japanese guy invented that toilet right there. That toilet.
Or tell the kids in the room across the hall, don't flush your toilets. I'm taking a shit.
Well, you see, when you live in a really rich home, you don't have to worry about those kind of things. They usually have multiple hot water heaters, or they have what we installed the most of was those. You just pop them on the wall. There's no heater tank.
Oh, tankless units.
Yeah, so we sold a lot of those, and the good ones work great.
You gotta be careful how much warm water you put in that sucker because it could melt the wax ring that's in there.
Well, no, you don't do it that way. They hook them up to the tank heaters, and they just pull it straight off of there. And it's got its own separate little line and everything that runs in. Does it?
It runs out, right?
Yeah, no, not the tankless heaters. It never runs out. That's the point. It never gets cold. It stays hot. That's the whole point of a tankless heater.
It's an on-demand system, so there's no water being maintained. There's no
as the water's pulled through the system, it's heated.
It's instantly boiled and then sent out.
Yeah, it's not like a tank system. It's a whole different design, and they're not even that expensive. I don't know why more people don't use them. They're good. They're good on water saving, good on energy saving.
It was like $500.
Yeah, you get a decent one for $500.
If you want a wet bar and you want to clean, your bar glasses, it's fantastic. You can have a little mini dishwasher and shit down there.
What do you mean? When am I coming back out to LA? When you pay me to come out there? That's when I'm coming out there. Why? I don't never come to LA for free. No, I'm sorry. Unless there's something really going. I might come out to see Fred, but the rest of y'all, nah. What? No, I seen him last time I was in LA. Yes. It's he's good looking too, ain't he? I know, man. I don't know what to tell you. He's married, ladies. Before you even start, he's married. Got a very nice wife. That's not just don't even start. You got to tell him early, man, because they'll start harassing you. Fred thinks I'm playing. I'm serious, man.
No, seriously, Fred. We had to make up a story that I got impregnated by aliens, and this was the result, just to keep the lady Fred request down for minimum.
It gets insane around here.
Otherwise, Joe was going to have to take his big old stick and hit them in the head until they stop bothering me.
Yeah. Oh, you guys are extremely handsome, man. I'm just working to be like y'all when I grow up.
Thank you.
What are you talking about, Jack? No, Fred's the opening show on Fridays. Yes, it's 10 o'clock his time, 12 o'clock our time. Yes. Yeah, just go on by and see him. He's over there. You can stop by to chat and say hi.
So it's Fred first, Carrie Lynn, then
Now,
Joe.
no, it's Fred, Father Sean, Carrie Lynn, Church, us, and then sometimes I put on Dave Scott when I'm in a good mood. When he's not on my bedside. No, Dave's fine, guys. I like Dave. He used to be part of the network, but we're still friends and we do carry his stuff from time to time. It's not because of him. We filled up really fast and he's got a 4-hour show. Yes, only the boss gets 4 hours. I'm just telling you. It's very expensive to be on this network for 4 hours. Just warning you ahead of time.
Yeah. Hey, boss.
No, we got to go in a little bit. Why? I haven't. Well, next year they're talking about having the awards at NASA in Florida.
The awards
they've done it before.
So
Writers of the Future, yeah. So they've done it before. They've had it at different locations, and they've actually had it at NASA to watch the shuttle launch and talk with the astronauts. I'll be like pig and poop talking to a bunch of astronauts. I won't even know what to do with myself. That'd be the bad part. I'll have to bring somebody with me to talk to the writers because I'll be too busy with the astronauts. It's in the science, I'm just a science geek at heart, but there's a lot of good people down there. So it'd be nice to go hang out. But that's what they're comparing pricing right now. I was talking to John about it the other day. People keep y'all's fingers crossed. I want to go to Florida. Florida's cooler than Los Angeles is.
And oddly enough, it's almost the same exact identical weather.
It is weird. What's that, Kim? A couple more questions and we got to go. Oh no, Fred's one will beat the daylights out of him, man. She will. Oh hell no.
What's
she
happening?
will whoop him if he's up too late. So we got to go to bed. She said, it don't look like his wife going to tell him when to go. I said, yeah, she'll whoop him, man. She'll whoop you. She looks all nice and sweet, but she just whoop up on him fast. Oh, you seen that picture? Yeah, because Fred's like this tall, and freaking Carmen's like this tall, and I'm like this tall.
Oh, the picture.
Yeah. That is the ugliest picture I've ever taken in my entire life. These two guys looked really good, though. Carmen does guest acquisitions for the Office Quill. He works for Writers of the Future. Yes. Why? What about that? Don't get me started on that because I'll be rude to you. I've never met. Oh, you mean have somebody tried to recruit me? No, indeed not. Do I look like it? I would never be good for any religion. I'm very spiritual individual, but religion. The Scientology wouldn't do me. Yeah, they don't want me anyway. Trust me. When I tell you this in good faith, they don't want me. They're like, he makes good press guy, but keep him away from everybody else. No, actually, dude, I have never one time, and I'll say this, and it'll be the end of it, but not one time in the 6 years I've gone there.
See out there, man.
In the over 100 and something winners I've talked to, not one of them have ever been asked to join. Not any of the judges have ever asked to been joined. And for a lot of the judges, they would get offended if they were asked. So, no, it's not like that. It is simply L. Ron Hubbard set up Writers of the Future so that for writers and illustrators to win and get some name recognition. They're well hooked up with Barnes and Nobles and Books of Millions and everybody else. They know everybody and their mom in the book industry. They got famous judges that come in and help you learn how to be better at whatever you do.
Who is in charge of it? He has his own publishing company, that's a very famous one, Galaxy Press.
Yeah, and John's good looking too. He's a cute guy.
Yeah.
He's
also taken. Don't even start.
Oh no, I already got in trouble because I was saying something about John and I were hanging out in the evenings and afternoons, hanging out doing stuff and having breakfast together. And it was the way I said breakfast together. People started like, oh. And why were y'all having breakfast together? I said, because we were having breakfast together like we do most mornings. And they're like, but it didn't sound like that. It sounded like maybe, because I said we was hanging out in the evening, hanging out. I said, y'all stop that. You're giving me trouble with Emily. I said, she will be kung fuing on my head if I don't watch her. If I'm out in LA, yeah, you can come see me. Yeah, I like people to come out and visit me.
Baby cat.
You mean shows? Oh, no. So, yeah, no, I brought Fred on network, but most of the time Michelle does. Yeah, I get in trouble when I bring people on network that she don't see. Yeah, I own a network, but that's not the point. She's the boss. I just got on her yesterday because I told her, when you going to go see Fred? She said, I think he's scared of me. I said, no, I don't think he's scared. He's a big old guy. I don't think he's worried. It's like little bitty self. What's that, Janine? Oh, I did see that. I did see the thing about the planets. So there's 2 planets. They're pretty sure have some type of intelligent life on it. There's hydrocarbons in the air. And then there's 2 planets that have a different kind of carbon in the air that could be made from industrial, but also could be made from some type of plant or animal life. So anyway it goes, these 4 planets more than likely have some type of life on them. What's now the 2 with the hydrocarbons, they figure around the same stage of evolution that we are. But remember, one of the planets is 120 light years away. So we're seeing it that far back. So it's 120 years probably ahead of us.
Well, what about the even more surprisingly, shockingly 13 or 14 or well, I think the last count was 17 possible Dyson spheres being constructed and or are constructed around 17.
Yeah, they've been looking at a lot of those. They that big one they keeps flashing a star out, flashing a star in. So at first they thought it was asteroids, but it wasn't. Then they thought it was something that was moving that from time to time would change it. But they've noticed now that it's just getting bigger and blocking more and more sunlight out. Yeah, something. So it's something's building or growing or people. I mean, there's life out there besides us.
How many years would it take to build one? 1 million? 2 million?
No, it depends on how big your civilization is. Yeah. If you're a galaxy-sized civilization, probably no time at all, a couple of years. If you've got 1 trillion people you can put to work and all the minerals and construction equipment.
That doesn't discount the physics of it. There's that much, So the concept is, and when Star Trek they did it was as a metal ball around the sun, but the actual Dyson sphere idea is a metal ball around the entire solar system.
Yeah, it's supposed to be around the solar system.
You contain all of the energy of the solar system within the Dyson sphere, and your main star or your main 2 stars, because most stars in our galaxy are binary.
This is the time of show where Jay says Star Trek, and I'm already thinking I got to go. It's time to eat.
This isn't this isn't
in the morning.
This is science.
It looks like that's the best place to see it. But the real concept is you encapsulate the entire galaxy, the entire solar system, and you basically what you do is you've harnessed 100% of the possible energies and resources.
But you see, by somebody who could do that, first off, a lot of the stuff would be being either replicated or built by nanites. It would take
millions of years.
Like no, not with replication of nanites. It wouldn't even take. Probably wouldn't even take 10 years.
Oh, come on! The distances. I mean, it would take millions of years. I would think.
Hey, don't be putting my ex-girlfriend up there.
It's Baylock.
It's no, I mean really, if you've got replication on 100 worlds or 500 worlds, it's not going to take that long. You could be replicating 10,000 panels a day.
But how fast could maybe certain materials take longer than others?
No, probably not. Well, see, the first one's going to take you the time, but after that, I bet you it's like anything. It's like building the first car. It takes 2 years, and after that, they take weeks. It's an assembly line, and if you've got a civilization big enough to build a Dyson sphere, you're going to build it a lot faster.
I got an idea. You're in good with that Neil deGrasse Tyson, yeah?
Yeah, we can bring him on. I haven't talked to him in a while, but we can ask him to come on. He's a lot of fun to talk to.
I guarantee you, he'll agree with me. It would take me.
Yeah, because you're thinking of our technology. You're not thinking of advanced technologies. As far as you know, they could throw a crystal seed out there and watch it grow in less than a couple of days. I'm just saying, we don't know what they're using. We're not thinking about silicone-based technologies or anything along those lines. Any of that stuff. I mean, any seeded crystal could grow at an accelerated rate, and you didn't have to do one. You could do thousands at a time. I mean, the thing would grow really fast. So it's really about what your level of technology is when you build it. Now, if you're starting race,
a billion years of technology, they've got some stuff.
Oh yeah, they probably got something. They probably actually got something they can go put on the sides of the star and just watch it build out. But it's not for a race like that. And that's a race that's conquered their solar systems or part of them. That's not that big of a deal for them. I'm telling you. Think about it, Jay. Think about what you just said. So they have those ones that they seen by the sun. Those things, they're as big as Jupiter or bigger.
Yeah.
And there was 4 of them there, not 1, but 4. And then there was them 2 cube-looking things that was seen out on the backside of Jupiter. So, and they were easily 4 or 5 times the size of our moon. These technologies really already exist. So if you start snapping these pieces together, you've got a Dyson sphere. So that's the thing. I think it can go faster. I mean, it depending on the rate of technology, I would say anywhere from 20 years to a million. It just depends on your rate of technology.
Now's the time.
It would take us a million years to build one.
I don't think you get 20 years. You're still talking about if you do the whole solar system. It's such a long distance. It's going to take more than 20 years. Absolutely.
No. Yeah, if you got little wimpy technology that you can't build, but if you're building 100,000 panels a week or 500,000 panels a week, it's not going to take that long.
Well, when else are you going to run out of material?
So you're not. You got a whole galaxy full of materials. You're not going to run. Look at our solar system.
Solar system. I mean, is there?
You could be crunching planets and using them. I mean, unused moons or planets. Yeah, you could be crunching them up and using them. The problem is not the sphere is not going to be what takes long. What's going to take long is building the inside garden. That's what's going to take long. That's going to be 100 years, 500 years, 1,000 years. That's what's going to take long. I don't think, because right now, watching how an assembly line works just for our cars, and when you think about how many cars, what, 1 billion, 2 billion cars on the planet, it didn't take that long to get to that point. So I don't really think, and I think these technologies are going to be far more advanced than anything we understand. So I don't think it's going to be taking long to encapsulate it. But once you get on the inside of it, it's like building a house. You can build a house outside in less than 60 days, completely enclosed, roof on, plumbing in, everything, electrical in. But when you get inside, it's going to take 4 or 5 more months, or at least 3 or 4 more months, depending on the size of the house. And I think that's going to be the same thing for the Dyson sphere. I think on your outside, you're going to go fast. Once you get inside, you got to slow down. You got to start planning. You got to bring in dirt. Where you're going to get all that dirt from? That's when you get into materials.
Now,
the whole solar system full of dirt.
They need to make an inner surface for people to live on. But if they're doing the whole solar system, they do not.
I think they're going to do both. Actually, I think they'll do both. I think they'll put a solar system in, or at least a mini solar system, maybe 3 planets, and 1 sun. I think that would be better for them because it's more controllable. Because and then use the other planets to do the sides, because that way they have room for expansion. Because not all the planets you don't want to keep like this solar system. If you enclose it, just 200 bodies and maybe 300 that we aren't going to want inside. I mean, they're rogue, there's asteroids. You can't have none of that going on. You smashing into the side of the sphere. You got to clean the thing up and get everything straightened out. So I think they would downsize, and I think they would use a lot of that dirt. And then again, they could just build the outer. If all they're doing is encasing the solar system, that's not going to take that long. They'll do that pretty quickly. And then they're done and over with, and they can move on to the next one. That might be why we're seeing, because think about this. Since the time they seen the one you and I are talking about, the one in space that's been getting dimmer, the amount of light coming from that star has dropped almost 40% in less than 2 years. Wow. So that gives you an idea how fast, if they're building, it gives you an idea how fast they're building.
Well, either they're building something around that sun and blocking its light from reaching us, or it's about to go nova, and in the next few years we could see.
And that's all possible too. Christopher Dean, we're talking about Dyson spheres. Yes, we are, and there are varieties of types of Dyson spheres. Yes. Who? What do you mean? Anybody can? You mean Mars? Fred said he's going to live on Mars. Yes. He'll probably be like 8 foot tall. He goes and lives on. Well, you stretch like 3 inches when you move to Mars.
There you go. I'm out of here, man.
All right, be good, baby, because we got to go in a couple seconds anyway. But
hit the wall.
So get some sleep, man.
So
get some sleep. So if
bye.
See you, Mike.
No, I mean, when the Dyson spheres are cool too. There's just a lot of technologies that we're going to get caught up in over the next couple of years and see how they work out. Now, there was something else I was going to say, but it went out of my brain. Frederico.
How far away do you think we are from genetically grown biological craft?
1,000 years. But see, and that's the thing. I say that, and somebody could have a breakthrough in genetics in 10 years, and we can do it. Because we're already growing stuff we shouldn't be growing.
DNA to any way we want. So, I mean,
well, we're manipulating DNA pretty good now, and we've learned how to grow carbon chips. We ain't learned how to program the biatches yet, but we've learned how to grow. So we got chips we can grow, carbon-based chips that can take any amount of heat you want to add to them. They don't give off heat, and I think they start at around 150,000 megahertz. So that makes them far more powerful than any chip out there. Even, I mean, my little 36 core couldn't even keep up with that thing.
But why can't they program it?
They can't. They can a little bit. This has been going on for about 9 years now. Japan actually invented the damn thing. The interactive software is what they're having issues with. So they can program the chip to do basic things that all chips do, just at an accelerated speed. But
they're trying to make it like a Google speaker or something like that. Or
they're trying to make it just like any typical microchip that's in your computer today. So it could be multiple functional across multiple programs, and they just haven't got there yet. And by the time they do, maybe there'll be something else. I mean, we're in quantum computers now, so I can't afford a quantum computer, and I wouldn't even know what to do with one. I'd give it to Fred because he probably have more use for it than. Really, I mean, I have not. I got a bachelor's in science, but I don't need a quantum computer. I mean, the computing power of one of them is ridiculous. First of all, I couldn't even keep the thing cool. They use they use a special kind of stuff to keep them cool. So my computers in here, my 436 cores I'm running here right now, are all liquid cooled, static liquid cooled. Of course, static liquid means that if they bust open, it won't blow up my computer. It won't do any damage to the electronics. But these are actually more of a bio freon mix. They're kept super cool. They have to be super cool. You know, well, we're learning, people. That's what the carbon chip's about, because it doesn't give off heat. That's one of the biggest problems to any electronics is how much heat they give off. It's why if you have a Bitcoin form, it's one of your biggest problems is the amount of heat that your computers are throwing off. You have to keep them cool because let me tell you a little secret, people. Computers do not like to be hot. No, they don't. They like cold.
Most electronics don't like to be hot. Your VCR, your DVR, your TV.
Why do you think they all have fans in them and shit, people? That's to keep them cool. One more question and we got to go. You can catch Fred on Friday in the morning. Yes. He does this little sunshine dance and stuff. He's like, you know, the guy's a Marine, right? He's up there going, yeah. I'm just messing with it. See, I live way out here in Mississippi, so you can't get me that thing, California.
You're a former Marine, Fred?
Yeah, I'm a Marine. Yeah, Marine, former Marine. I'm still learning
My best friends are Marines, and I was taught. I'm a civilian, never been in the military, but I was taught how to shoot guns by some very, very cool special forces guys. One of which was a guy who did 3 voluntary tours as Force Recon in Vietnam. Wonderful dude. God bless
I knew a couple of crazy idiots.
idiots.
I was lucky. I was just young enough that I didn't have to go. I hadn't quite hit the adult phase yet, but I had several friends. 2 of my friends they were A-team. They spent all their time in Laos, where so we supposedly were not. They were not allowed to use guns to kill people. They were just, it's not a big secret anymore, but still, they were pretty messed up. David especially was messed up. We were out one night in the middle of the night in the swamp getting drunk, boat riding. And he grabbed my 9mm and went to shooting holes in the boat. Like, I looked at it, which we went to Boston. Well, he could have shot as many holes as he wanted. We weren't going to sink. It wasn't going to happen. I'm like, dude, what is wrong with you? And I didn't want to get into it because I knew he was going to kick my ass. And this is before I went into the service. And then we're coming home that night. He climbs out the side window of my car, actually my wife's car, rips the windshield wipers off this car. I'm doing 80 miles an hour. He's screaming. I'm like, this he's going to die, man. I just knew it. So finally he gets back in. My friend Steve puts his arm around his neck, pulls him up against the headrest. The boy grabs his arms, got him pulled back there. They tying the seatbelt around his hands. And I said, David, don't make me hit you, man. I said, because I ain't big enough to hurt you. And I ended up hitting him like 9 times in his face. And then all of a sudden he just popped and he was fine.
Wow.
He was fine. And he had a soft spot for me. He said I reminded him about someone who got their brains blown out over there. I said, well, thank you for fucking sharing that with me. And but he was serious. I mean, he was serious about it. He was very protective of me. That, and he always wanted to bring women home to swap with my wife, and my wife was like, no. And I'm not kidding. He'd come home sometimes with 2 or 3 of them. Look, I brought 3 for 1, Joe. I said, go ask her. She's right there. And they would just look at him like, no. Sorry, dude. She's free. She's got freedom. There ain't nothing I can do about it. And finally, though, a bunch of my friends made me put him out the house and sent him back to Seattle, Washington, where he ended up in jail for 3 years for marrying a 16-year-old.
Oh.
He got her pregnant. And nobody actually, he got statutory and he got 3 years. And then he got out and he got married and had a baby. Well, he had a baby when he got it, but still, it actually calmed him down. So he kind of chilled out and stopped. I mean, he just had
a child changes you as a person. So
it definitely changed me, but I quit drinking when I had it. It's, Dean, what do you mean? What did I do? I can't tell you what I did in the service. I'm sorry, sweetie. Fred's got a clearance. I could tell him, but no. I can't, to be honest, I couldn't even tell my wife. It's just how it is sometimes.
Yeah, my wife didn't care. Well, she kept asking and didn't care. I finally got a little bit able to talk back in 2020 in November. She's like, I don't even care anymore.
I'm good. Don't tell me anymore. I'm fine. Well, once a person gets to know you, they know, well, whatever he's doing, he's not doing it here. So it's, what are you talking about, Chris? No, I was on a Nimitz. Who told you that? Oh, I was Special Forces, but that's okay. People get confused. I wasn't like SEALs. I was like when the SEALs got caught, we were the guys that went and got them out. That's what we did.
Special operations.
That was our job.
Yeah.
No guy left behind. That's the rule. And they were in serious about. But I screwed myself up because I was on Nimitz. I was on duty on Nimitz, and I was working as a plane captain or skipper, whatever you call it, launching jets all day. And I was out there launching a jet, and the A6 Intruder had a pylon failing with one of their missile launchers. So I went over. It took me about 5 minutes to fix it. Put the jet up, launched it, and then the number one came down. He said, "You didn't have to bring that plane downstairs to fix." I said, "No, it took me about 5 minutes." He said, "Really?" He said, "Because everybody I talked to said it was going to take a couple of days to get that fixed." I said, "Well, I don't know what they were talking about." He said, "Well, and on the Nimitz, you weren't allowed in the conning tower unless you were an officer." But at the time, I was enlisted. I was E4. I was a rent-a-crow, actually. And so he said, "Well, I want you to come look at this radar. Just radar. This is never seen this shit before. I can't even tell you what it is because I'm sure it's still classified." Got in, pulled the side panel off, and I asked him, I said, "How many people have looked at this after I turned it off?" By the way, people, don't ever pull a radar side panel off until it's off because it will kill you or somebody around you. Yeah, we'll barbecue you from the inside out. And this is high power radar. This ain't some bullshit like in your microwave, man. Yeah. This makes your microwave look like jump chain.
Glass with lead in it.
No. But anyway, so I put the panel door back on, started it up. And he said, "It's working fine." He's shaking it, trying to get it to stop working because it would just quit working sometimes. He said, "Well, what the hell was it?" I said, "Come here, let me show you." I said, "You see that little clip I put in there, that little piece of plastic where I reconnected?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "It had a little tiny little scratch on it, and every now and then it was grounding against the metal on the side and shortening it out." He's like, "You fucking kidding me, right?" Because he was pissed. This had been going on for almost 5 years.
Wow.
On the USS Nimitz, which was a fucking flagship at the time. So he looks at me. He goes, "I'm going to want to talk to you in the future." I said, "Well, you know where I'm at." So I went back on duty. And a couple of days gets past, I get called to the captain's office. Well, when you're enlisted men, people on a carrier, you never get called to the captain's office unless you're being booted off the ship. And even then, you usually don't get called to the captain's office because that's low rank. I was nobody. That's low rank.
Or the cook.
And so I mean, they knew my other designation, but it didn't really matter to them because it had nothing to do with the carrier. And I get down and he said, "I want you to say I want to talk to you." I'm like, "Well," he said, "how would you like to work up here?" I said, "Well, I really like what I do, sir." I mean, because I really did. I mean, I love being on the flight deck because to me it was like crack weed. I love this shit. And he said, "How about if I promote you to officer?" He said, "I'll give you a lieutenant junior grade." I said, "So I get to skip 2 grades right after?" He said, "Yeah." Well, he said, "Call it a battlefield promotion, basically." That's what he called it.
Sign me up.
And so I said, "Sure," which came with a nice raise because, I got hazardous pay and all kind of other weird pays. Navy's funny. You get like 6, he knows he's in the Marines. So you get multiple different pays depending on what you're doing, what your AOS is, wherever you're stationed. All that shit makes a difference in how much money you get paid. And so I'm doing my thing. And then He goes, well, you got a class 4 security clearance. I said, yes, actually I got a class 5. He says, oh, well, that's a problem. So these guys come in and see me, ask me 500 million questions, talk to every motherfucker I know. When I got home on leave, everybody. People I hadn't even seen in a decade, they went and talked to. I'm not kidding you, man.
Yeah.
It was amazing how many people they covered. So then I get back, and I had to take a freaking polygraph of all things, too. And they gave me a Class 10 security clearance, which is probably higher than the one Donald Trump's got. And I said, okay, now you can work in the reactor room. I was like, oh, shit, I don't want to get irradiated. It's just what I told my captain. He started laughing. He said, oh, no, here, see these little badges we wear? If they turn blue, well, you're dead. I was thinking to myself, what the fuck did I get myself into? And so it was always pink. I was real lucky. My initials on that, and if they ever pull it, the reactor, my initials are actually carved on it. So it's there for life, wherever it ends up going. And boy, I remember the command, the number one came down one day. He said, how many people got initials on? He was pissed. He was just tearing everybody up. I said, sir, these are long before us. I mean, look how many people got the initials. I said, this got to go back to the beginning, and then one of them at the date. You know, it must have been when they were putting the reactor in. He goes, I never noticed this before. What the hell? I was
you can always say, this is how I keep track of where I've
he was so hacked, and he'd only been number one for like 2 years. I mean, he was, you know, our captain was, how can I say this politely, a dick. And which is what a captain's supposed to be. I'm not hating on him. That's their job. And he was always nice to me, but I had good favor with him. But every time electronics fix, he cracked me up. We get a sub pulls in. This thing's clinking and jinking, having all kind of problems. So the guy says, send me 2 or 3 of your tech people. He said, no, I'm gonna send Joe over. You're gonna send one guy? He said, yeah, I'm gonna send Joe over. Just let him look before I send anybody else. So I'm up and wait, get this shit. So I go down. I'm getting ready to walk into the hatch. I said, oh, I need to see your ID. And I look at it. He said, well, you're going to be on a command tower of one of the most powerful submarines that ever exist. I need to know what your security clearance. And I told him, he said, that don't mean shit to me.
Yeah.
So I give him the thing. He goes to his machine and scans it and comes back, and he's waiting and waiting. I was like, so why don't you just call the fucking captain and ask him? Oh, no, we can't do it like that. So it comes back. He said, all right, you can go in. So I walk in, and I'm thinking to myself, if that's the case, most of our guys can't come in this fucking place because they don't have that kind of clearance. And so I'm sitting down there, I walk around. I was like, what's it doing? He said, well, we're getting this weird feed from the engine room to here and back, and it's skipping. I said, what do you mean skipping? I said, can I hear it? And he turns on, and I hear pop, 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 pop. I said, oh, dude. I said, you got a major F up somewhere. I said, let me walk back. Can I go back there? He said, yeah, you can go back. So I'm in the reactor room. I'm looking around. I find this wire, and I can hear it. I can feel it popping. Well, if you've ever seen an electric fence, how they go on and off, on and off, on and off. Well, this is what this was. This was a main power distributor wire from the engine room to the front of the fucking submarine. And it even had fed power to the forward torpedo base. And I'm like, so I'm looking, and I'm digging this big submarine, lots of wiring, lots of tight little spaces. I'm not a little smallest guy, so I'm digging it. And finally, I stuck my hand where it fucking lit my ass off. I mean, I had barely even touched it. It just lit me up. I was all dazed and dizzy. The guy behind me, you all right? I said, yeah, I think I found your fucking problem. I said, tell him to turn the power off, pull these 2 panels off, and I'll be back in a few minutes. And he's like, so they cut the power off and come back. And he goes, oh my God, it's a big tear. I don't know what tore it, but all the wires were frayed out and spread out. First time I'd ever seen fiber optics up close, too. And something cut right through a bunch of it. And I could not find anything. Matter of fact, they ruled it as sabotage because I couldn't find anything. I looked, took pictures, looked. I could find nothing sharp enough to cut through a power cable, which was about this big around, and a fiber optic bundle, which was about this big around, and they were stacked on top of each other. And something cut right through them, all the way to about the last 4.
It is very, very strong, very tough, very hard to cut.
I have no idea, but the problem is they were cut, but they were still touching. So you were getting feeds going in and out, but the fiber optics was doing weird stuff, and stuff was jumping back and forth, of course, because it was going to different breaks in the fiber. And so I got it all sorted out, and I got a commendation for that, by the way. I was like, I'm getting a commendation. Oh, yeah. You just put the nuclear sub back in operation. I'm thinking, yeah, it's my job, dude. I mean, it's my job. I mean, literally, it was my job. I'm like, oh, no, you're getting accommodation. And my captain goes, I hear you're getting accommodation. What were you doing down there? I said, fixing their electronics. He said, Joe, you are really talented. I'm like, yes, boss, but this is not what I joined the Navy for. He said, but you got degrees in advanced avionics and advanced electronics. I said, well, I had to take something. I said, when I was in Special Forces, they told me I had to take something, so that's what I took. He's like, because, Special Forces is a weird thing. I mean, you got to go through all your training and all the bullshit, but they stick you in courses and classes and all kind of other stuff they want you to know. And electronics is very important to them. They want to teach you how to kill and how to fix shit. And it's a weird combination, but it was interesting. I still remember that captain when I got up front. He's like, I walk up and you could see him. He's laughing and giggling, talking to his number one and two other officers. And they all walking in, they're all patting me on the back. Oh, man, you sure you don't want to become a submarine? I'm like, no. I said, I don't want to be in a submarine. He said, no, it pays way better. He said, I'll get you reported to lieutenant command. He said, I'll get you promoted to lieutenant this week. And he said, within a year, I'll have you lieutenant command. And I thought about that because that was serious. Because that was worth staying. Lieutenant command is worth staying. But I was like, no, that's okay. I'm happy at my little
lieutenant commander. You're commanding your own ship.
But they gave me lieutenant like 6 weeks after they gave me. Well, about 12 weeks after they gave me the JJ because of that submarine. Lieutenant commander is tough because it's right below a commander. It's in between. Well, it's in between a full lieutenant and lieutenant commander is right there in the middle. His seat. Like the Marines and Navy do their ranks different.
You were junior grade, and then there's first, second, then lieutenant.
No, I was junior grade, and then I was first lieutenant, and then that's where I was. I would have been lieutenant commander when I left, but I left. So I said, okay, y'all had me for 9 years. I'm out of here. It wasn't even that long. I think it was like almost 6 or 7, really. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, okay, I love all of y'all. I thought about staying because I had a lot of fun. I got to do a lot of traveling. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of new technologies coming out, a lot of things I was really interested in. But in the back of my head, I always knew I was going to have to kill somebody. So I said, you know what, I'm out of here. I said, it was just being my OPS, my AOL was, I knew sooner or later. See, the problem is, and Fred knows this, and once you get certain things on your with the military, you're always usable tool. Even though I was doing electronics and stuff, at any moment they could have pulled me and said, okay, our team is one short. I was already up to date on all my stuff, so they could have easily pulled me. I had a lot of things I knew about. I was checked out on a lot of weapons. So, and there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, if that's what they want, that's what they want.
The same phenomenon happens in civilian life. I learned very quickly through college. I worked at several different restaurants, a Chart House, a Japanese restaurant. And I learned very quickly that once your bosses learn more and more what you can and can't do, they tend to come to you more and more for the things you can do. And it's like, damn it, I wish I hadn't told him I can do that. And then he's going to come to you for that thing every goddamn time. It's like,
no, Cat, we out of here. We're way past where we're supposed to be. It's all Fred's fault. We're blaming Fred because he's out in California. It's like 9 o'clock his time or 10 o'clock.
It's almost 11 over here, brother.
Oh, is it shit? Well, we got to definitely get out of here. When it's late for him, it's really late for us. We got to go, guys and girls. Wait, who? Fred's okay. Jay's with me on Friday. He's with Jeffrey on Friday. He's also with us on Saturday on the chat.
And Wednesday on UFO Undercover.
Fred's with us on Fridays, and he can join us on chat or this show anytime he wants to if he can put up with our crazy asses. What do you mean you didn't know our crazy? Wait. No, Chris. Well, that's true. If you've never seen News and Influence, if you've only ever watched me on Science and Beyond or UFO Undercover or on The Author, I never curse. Curse in their shows. It's not appropriate to
make a flub, but we try not to. Yeah.
this show, I do curse some, not like I do on the chat, mind.
Oh, chat, yeah.
The chat is like every other word is.
He's every bit the sailor.
The old Navy comes right out at me. I just lose any etiquette at all. It doesn't matter. Everybody can F off.
Well, he transforms completely.
Yeah. So, well, no. If you got a moan, groan, bitch, or complaint, please write to Michelle DeRoche. She wants to hear.
Tell him
she
Fred
loves to hear it. Yeah, tell him Fred sent you. So Fred said to write to you. She'll know who said it, but go ahead and tell her. Wait, what do you mean you can get me fired? Okay, wait a minute. Who are you again?
Yeah, off his own.
Where are you from? Are you like a first-time listener or something? Where are you from? Tampa? You in Tampa and you don't like us? Well, I mean, that's your opinion. I tell you what, her name is Michelle DeRoche. Give her a right. Tell her I'm a big asshole, you know what, and that I called you a dumb fuck. And, and see what she does. Oh, you for sure going to get me fired now? Okay, well, go ahead. Yes. What do you mean I should be scared? I own the fucking network, dumbass. I mean, really, do you not see the thing? Anyway, that's enough from idiot over here. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate y'all listening to us tonight. Again, any moans, groans, bitches, or complaints, please write to Michelle DeRoche. Courtesy of Fred, because she likes to hear from our host and stuff. No, Jay and I are like angelic like. We didn't say we were angelic. We said angelic like. That's much different. Okay.
There's much more freedom.
Kirby, thank you. I know we got a lot of news in tonight before we got on crazy planes and stuff. The warthog is a thing for us. Okay, it's just a thing for us. We like the warthog. It's. I mean that, and we got to see the F-35's new Gatling gun. That thing is beastified.
That was badass.
But yet, it's still, that's what's sad though. The F-22 made the top most lethal weapons in the world, and the F-35 didn't even make the list. Ain't that a bitch? I know. What the hell's wrong with that? Because the F-22 is a better plane. That's why.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, we only look. I forgot how many F-35s we got. We got a buttload of them. But when it comes to F-22s, I think we got 180, 187, something like that. And they're only used in the United States for 90% of the time, and they're not allowed to be sold to anyone else. Not even our allies will we sell an F-22 to.
Yeah.
Ain't that something? That should be
board.
Yes. Yeah, no, we won't sell. We'll sell the F-35 to everybody on the freaking planet. We don't care. But the F-22, they were brought out of production over a political thing. It had nothing to do with the performance of the jet or anything else. The powers to be wanted to go with the F-35 because they were the powers to be. Lockheed built a better plane. And F-35 is a nice plane.
The invisible plane is extremely expensive.
Have you ever seen that thing fly, people? I mean, it can do this and just kind of play around, sit there, go up, take up, come back. The damn thing hovers. I mean, what else you want out of a jet?
Yeah, we haven't seen that since the F-14.
But the difference, one of the big differences between the F-35 and the F-22 is the F-35 can carry an external payload. The F-22 cannot.
Well, it can, but it totally destroys the
No, the F-35 it can. The F-22 they said the wings will not support it.
Oh, really?
Unless it's an upgrade or something I haven't heard about. But recently we were watching it just the other day, and they said the F-22 will not support an external payload. Something to do with the way the wings are swept or designed or something. The F-35 is designed for it. They call it an all-out pass, some other name for the package. Because I was kind of like, I always figured F-22, but no, I was surprised. So it does limit its armament.
The wing of an F-22 would be possible, but it would eliminate the optical.
The stealth, yeah. Yeah, it's what it does on the F-35. There's actually a special package for the F-35. They just didn't do it for the F-22. But the Navy got slick, even though they won't give them any of the F-22s, and built a special hook for the F-22. It's a special tail package they can't, for some reason, they can't get one that works right on the F-35. That's why they have to vertical takeoff, which the Marines are going to get the majority of those anyway. The Navy's not going to get those.
Yeah.
That's the F. What is it? F series, A, B, C, C. I don't know. I always get confused with all those letters. And but Marines are going to get the majority of the Harriers, the jump jets, whatever you want to call them.
Harriers.
They're vertical landing and takeoff. They're just F-35s. We just nickname them different things.
Yeah.
It's a badass plane. It's not, but in a dogfight, it can't take the F-22. Ain't that a bitch? It's supposed to be the better plane. It's no, they got the new J-65 coming out, and the new J-35 for the new J-35 for the Chinese does not have a tail. It's a whole different design. The Americans were kind of laughing, going, "Yeah, we've tried that. Go ahead, have fun." It's just, you want real stability? I don't know. It might not be the way to go. But we got to go, guys and girls. It's really late. It's way past my bedtime, and I got the munchies. I get hungry when I do this show for some reason. I always get hungry afterwards. But again, any moans, groans, bitches, complaints, please write to Michelle DeRoche. I will see you here tomorrow on the Author's Quill with John Goodman, and I'll post a guest in the morning so you know who's going to be on with us. And then, of course, around 6, I'll catch up with Jay, and then around 6 to do the the chat. I'm usually about a half hour late because I got to get something to eat, snack, and run around the house real fast. And then we do the chat and for about 3 hours, 3.5 hours sometimes. And
Michael Ainsley takes over.
The chat is it's totally disorganized. There's no organization.
There's no.
This show at least has some organization to it. Especially the first 2 hours tend to have more than the last. But anyway, we got to go. Thanks again for watching United Public Radio and News on the Flip Side. Have a good life. Have a lot of fun. Give your pet a hug, and I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, everybody.